Yeah, I would say middle schoolers, and my sister's in 6th grade. It's like all 4 rooms, so it's fine for 6th grade. I know, they're so sick. Oh my goodness. But like 18 years old, like 10. I know. It was 10 or 2. Like, so it's so different because it's that's chat. Just like cool. Like, hey. Probably not. Oh, okay. Yeah. He does. Like for the days he and then he's gonna join like the German club.
Good evening.
Yes.
Welcome to Community Education Council 2. My name is Craig Slutsman. I'm the president of the council. I'd like to welcome everybody this evening. Do the interpreters wish to speak or introduce themselves? Or are you okay?
You guys don't like later.
Okay, I see thumbs up. Okay. We are going to start tonight with the election of the remaining officers for the 2024-2025 officer term. So, we're going to go through this. The first order of business would be to elect a chair pro tem to chair the election meeting until the president has been elected. However, as I was elected president during our July annual meeting, I will conduct the election. To elect officers, we will vote upon each position before moving on to the next so that any candidate not elected to an office can run for others. I will take nominations. Members can nominate themselves. If a member is nominated by another member, I will confirm that they accept the nomination. Nominations do not need to be seconded. If a member is not present but has submitted their nomination in writing to the administrative assistant or another member, they will be treated the same way as any other member who is present, including having a 2-minute statement read out loud by someone else. Each nominee will be allowed to make a speech of up to 2 minutes. Following the candidates' presentations, we will conduct a roll call vote. All positions must be voted on even if there is only one candidate. Where there are 2 or more candidates, each member must make a choice and vote for one or the other. Example, John Doe and Jane Smith are running for president. On the roll call, each member will vote for either John or Jane. The council must not vote first on John, then on Jane. Members may abstain from voting. If no candidate receives at least 7 votes, we will vote by show of hands on whether to do a second round or proceed to the elections for the next office. If a position remains unfilled over 2 or more rounds of voting, the incumbent will continue in the position. New elections for all unfilled positions must be put on the agenda of the following month's calendar meetings until all the positions are filled. Is this procedure clear to all of the members?
Yes.
Okay. Before we do that, I will take a roll call just to basically take attendance. So when I say your name, please note if you are here. Pri Boparai. Pri Boparai is absent. Allison Bowen.
Here.
Allison Bowen is present. Daniela Egorov.
Here.
Daniela Egorov is here. Charles Love. Here. Charles Love is here. Gavin Healy. Here. Gavin Healy is here. Mud Marin. Mud Marin is absent. She noted that she's under the weather, so she will receive an excusal. She sent that in writing earlier today. Sonal Patel.
Here.
Sonal Patel is present. Sarah Schachter Ehrenberg.
Here.
Sarah Schachter Ehrenberg is here. Jessica Savage.
Here.
Jessica Savage is here. Sabina Serenice.
Here.
Sabina Serenice is here. Leonard Silverman.
Here.
Leonard Silverman is here. Craig Slutskin is here. Lila Jasson. Lila Jasson is here. Alexandra Stillman is absent, but she is going to receive an excusal. She has pressing matters. Okay. Now, we have 2 officer positions. 2 officer positions have already been filled, the office of president and the office of treasurer, which means we have 2 positions that are unfilled, the office of vice president and the office of recording secretary. So I'm going to take nominations for first the office of vice president. Craig Slutsman will nominate Leonard Silverman. Mr. Silverman, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Mr. Silverman accepts. Are there any other nominations? There are no other nominations. Mr. Silverman, do you wish to give your 2-minute speech?
I'll make it a lot less than 2 minutes. I just want to thank Daniela Erdogan for her service as vice president our prior term. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a long time together already. I feel like we're real veterans on this council. And also looking forward to working with you, Craig, and your leadership in the coming term.
Thank you. So I will now take a vote. For, against, or abstain, Leonard Silverman is vice president. Priya Poparai is absent. Allison Bowen.
Yes.
Allison Bowen is a yes. Daniela Egorov.
Yes.
Daniela Egorov is a yes. Charles Love.
Yes.
Charles Love is a yes. Gavin Healy.
Yes.
Gavin Healy is a yes. Maud Maron is absent. Sonal Patel.
Yes.
Sonal Patel is a yes. Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg.
Yes.
Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg is a yes. Jessica Savage.
Yes.
Jessica Savage is a yes. Sabina Serenise.
Yes.
Sabina Serenise is a yes. Leonard Silverman.
Yes.
Leonard Silverman is a yes. Craig Slutskin is a yes. And for elections, the students do not unfortunately vote in that. That being said, by a vote of not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 0, Len Silverman has been elected vice president. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will now go to, I will now move to the office of secretary. I will nominate Daniela Egorov. Ms. Egorov, do you accept?
Yes.
She accepts. Are there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. Do you wish to make a statement?
No.
No statement necessary. Okay.
I'll be happy to continue serving.
Okay. Thank you. So the vote is for, against, or abstain Daniela Egorov as recording secretary. Priya Poparai. Oh, she's out, sorry. Allison Bowen.
Yes.
Allison Bowen is a yes. Daniela Egorov.
Yes.
Daniela Egorov is a yes. Charles Love.
Yes.
Charles Love is a yes. Gavin Healy.
Abstain.
Gavin Healy is abstaining. Maud Maron is absent. Sonal Patel.
Abstain.
Sonal Patel abstains. Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg.
Yes.
Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg is yes. Jessica Savage.
Yes.
Jessica Savage is a yes. Sabina Serenise.
Yes.
Sabina Serenise is a yes. Leonard Silverman.
Yes.
Leonard Silverman is a yes. Craig Slutskin is a yes. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By a vote of 8 to 0 to 2, Danielle Egorov is elected as recording secretary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. So before we move on, I am going to just take a second and acknowledge the passing of someone who is near and dear to many people in District 2. Jennifer Greenblatt passed away last month. Len, would you like to say a couple of words?
I'm going to do my best to try to keep it together this month. I want to express on behalf of, I'm sure, all the members of the CC, my deepest condolences to Jennifer's family. I had an opportunity to visit with them after Jennifer passed away. All I can say is that Jennifer was amazing. She will be sorely missed, and there are those of us who have pledged in her memory to try to do our best to maintain certain traditions that she was instrumental in preserving in this district. That includes the District 2 President's Council, which is near and dear to my heart. I will work with Tina, and we just want to make sure that it's going to be incredibly hard to replace Jennifer, but she will not be forgotten. And I think her legacy is reflected in what she's done for the parents in this district, the parents who have moved on, and the parents who are still here. So I can just say from the, she's going to be missed. So
I'll say my report. Thank you. The announcement of the council norms and expectations. So we will be hearing in the public session for many of you. I will ask everyone to be respectful of each other. And I know we are all very passionate of our viewpoints, and this is certainly to be commended. I would ask that we listen to each other and we do not interrupt each other. When we have the public session, there will be a time limit. The time limit exists so that we can get through the agenda. I want us to get through the meeting and allow some time for the council to discuss the 2 resolutions. For those of you on Zoom, we do have the chat box open and we'll be monitoring it. Again, please be respectful to one another. If we find there are issues, we will close the chat, but we strongly do not want to go that route. Thank you. So next on is the presentation of our resolutions. We have, sorry.
Real quickly, I just heard from the virtual audience, your spacing on the mic is perfect. Closer is no good. So it's hard to hear Landon, closer. That was perfect.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little clip
Yeah.
right here so I know where to exactly the TV is.
All right, sorry.
Okay, thank you, thank you. The next on the agenda is the presentation of resolutions. There were 2 resolutions this month that were delivered to me. Resolution 261, resolution to oppose mayoral control of the New York City Department of Education. Does anybody wish to speak and present the resolution? Gavin Healy.
Oh, yeah.
Turn this one off.
This one, no.
How does it work?
They told me that it wasn't working. Is it on? You gotta
It's like
press
me,
the-
it's like a test, just a part of the
I
button.
think you pressed the button on the left. I think.
Yeah, there's no lights.
You're on the left. Do you want to pass it over? Maybe Craig.
I could get another.
Let me see.
Maybe yours has, last time yours had to be off for that one to work.
Oh, there you go.
It's left.
Thank you. So, this is a resolution to oppose mayoral control of the New York City Department of Education. As I think many of you know that New York City New York City encounters are unique in New York State for having not only an elected school board, but the mayor directly appoints the chancellor of the New York City Public Schools. Also, the mayor appoints the majority of the seats on the panel for educational policy, which reviews the major contracts entered into by the New York City Public Schools. So it creates a situation where that has sort of marginalized community members who don't have a voice in the process. And now I know that many people have said that the previous system, because New York City did at one time have a system of
Kevin, they can't hear you online, so maybe if you want to further back, like, put in.
That's it.
like this. Okay. New York City did at one time have a system of elected school boards, but I know that there were a lot of problems with that at one time. So we're not asking for like willy-nilly to go back to that system, but what we're asking for a review of the current system and to kind of revisit that in consultation with the community, in consultation with stakeholders, and look at how we can get more direct public participation in the governance of our schools. And I know we actually brought a very similar resolution in January of this year, which did not pass. But I think as most of us know, who have been following the news, that a lot of things have happened in our city since January 2024. Our mayor has been indicted for corruption. Our chancellor who was supposed to kind of stay until the end of the year, actually abruptly resigned a few weeks ago. His position. So it's created this situation of instability. It's created this situation of uncertainty, and I think that we deserve better, and I think our kids deserve better. And so what I'm asking for, what we're asking for in this resolution is simply to take a sort of more detailed, closer look at the system of mayoral control of our public schools, especially in light of what has happened over the last few months. And we see a city in crisis, and that crisis is coming from the top. It's not coming from the grassroots level. It's coming from our mayor, and we have seen this sort of, revolving door of the administration. And it's harmful to our kids. So I think we need a new system, and that's why we put forth this resolution.
Thank you. The next resolution is Resolution 262, resolution to affirm CECD2's support of NYCPS's guidelines to support transgender and gender-expansive students and rescind resolution number 248. Does anybody wish to speak to this resolution?
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
So everybody sitting up here is certainly familiar with this topic. Probably everybody sitting out there is familiar with this topic on Zoom. I'm going to be brief in what I say. As the title suggests, we are asking for three things: that the CEC affirms its support for transgender students in our district, that we affirm the support of the gender guidelines and implementation of the gender guidelines by NYCPS coaches and PSAL officials, and that we officially rescind Resolution 248. I'm just going to make a couple simple points, some new information as compared to last meeting. Since then, the sponsors of 248 have yet to present any evidence that the coaches or officials have expressed any concerns about the gender guidelines. And 248 just unjustly maligns them by casting doubt on their ability to maintain a safe, fair, and inclusive athletics program for our students. Since last month's CEC meeting, a new peer-reviewed study published in the journal Nature has found that states that passed anti-transgender laws aimed at minors, including those types that prohibit transgender youth from participating in sports or school activities that align with their gender identity, saw statistically significant increases in the rate of suicide attempts by transgender teenagers in the following years. And it was a pretty large, reputable study showing this. And then finally, the New York Times also recently reported that the CDC has stated that when you don't create safe and supportive school environments for the most vulnerable youth, such as our transgender youth, it has an impact on their mental health and their suicidal thoughts and behaviors. So, we put this resolution up again because we wanted to give members of our council another opportunity to make a different choice. Also because it's our job as CEC members to listen to our community, and our community has continued to overwhelmingly ask for this. And I maybe shouldn't speak to the rest of the sponsors, but personally, I wanted to sponsor this because I see this as saying to any of the young people in our community, any of our families, our parents, our community members who feel harmed by 248 or feel harmed by having the gender guidelines questioned, there are members here that hear you, that see you, that stand with you, and care. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is the program presentation from the Office of Food and Nutrition Services. If you'll give me a moment, we just need to set up the computer over there.
Sorry, I'm gonna move, so you have, my face is not in it.
Yes. Oh, you want to do it?
Yeah. Are we blocking you? Can you guys see?
It's not all the way, like, it's
Okay.
a picture, so it's not, you're not gonna.
Do you remember how to turn up those lights for the audience?
Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay.
Oh, there's a microphone in that, just face it.
This one right here?
No, I'm about Brooklyn girl, so.
Yes. I think I'm having the same problem you were, I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, you can watch this too. Let's see. Does that have $1 million? That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, yeah.
My name is Elizabeth Gillen. I am the district community supervisor for Office of Community Services. I have a very big part of the district too, just a little bit about myself. I started as a manager 20 years ago in District 2, managing schools, PS6, 190, Hunter, so I was all the way up there. I've been in all the schools. I left District 2 a little bit to go to headquarters, and last year I came back to District 2, where I feel very comfortable, and I was welcomed with open arms from a lot of principals that I knew from years back. So District 2 is a good spot in my heart, and I'm very happy and at home here. We have, so a small presentation about what we do for Open Ask. There's also in the back, I left on the table, my card, a little pamphlet with some literature, and then a postcard, and on the back of the postcard is a QR code for our survey. So there should be plenty there. If you need more, reach out, I can always get more going. And even the schools, but in schools too, you can only get, as I think most of the schools in the district, I leave a bunch of them. And I have the principals take pictures of the QR code to send out to their PTA or things like that. So it is floating around. You can just ask for it or email me and I can get you the QR code and the literature. So let's start with OFS. There we go. Okay. So just a small overview of what I'm going to talk about. So just an overview of our program, some of the federal meal requirements. So why we have to serve what we serve and the reasoning behind it. Like I said, some feedback. We have a survey in the back, so please feel free to take the QR codes and fill out the survey. So, all right. So here's some stats to start with. So you can see we have 26 different menus that we serve, but if a high school in Manhattan, which should be serving the same thing that a high school in Brooklyn, and they're on the same menu. So an elementary school, K-8 school, like right here where we are, should be serving the same thing in Queens as K-8 if we're on the same menu. So the menus are citywide. We have 500 standardized recipes. Standardized recipes are a little bit of a passing line. I really encourage my staff to follow them because your children are our customers. And I hate to hear, well, that was delicious when I was in elementary school, and then they go to junior high. Well, they made it different. It should not be that way. It should be the same when they're in K-8, when they're in K-5, and then they go to elementary, and then they go to high school. I want them to taste the same thing all the way through because they're our customers. All right, so we have over 8,000 schools, 1,800 schools, 1+ million students we serve, and we serve a ton of meals daily. From breakfast, lunch, breakfast after the bell, snack, cold supper, hot supper. We serve on the holidays for the schools that have open programs and camps. Throughout the summer we serve, so we are serving all year round. Yeah, okay. All right, so we are student-driven. We do a lot of case testing. It's a great, if you want your students involved, we do it 2 different ways. So we have case testing, so just right now, I'm going to have case testing in November. I have to choose some schools to have case testing in. I know one school will be in PS3. I'm going through my list tomorrow. So if you are interested in your students have a case testing, I can probably do about 2 or 3 schools this time around in November. Send me an email, have your school reach out to me. If it works, we will do it. Also, we have student taste testing group, they go on a field trip. So they can go up to Long Island and they're taste testing brand new items to see if they should be put on the menu. And we take surveys. For example, like a raisin bread. Did it not have enough raisins? Was it too much? Was it overpowered raisins? Was it overpowered with cinnamon? So we can get feedback from the students. So it's a great day for the students to have the ability to go up to Long Island City and give real feedback on the products that we want to source. All right, so let's start with breakfast. So breakfast, we always serve fresh seasonal fruit. We serve local dairy items, and all of our items are whole grain, low fat, high fiber, limited sugar, and we don't serve any juice at breakfast. So our breakfast menu is, again, we can serve hot breakfast traditional on the service line, or cold breakfast grab and go. We serve breakfast after the bell, so if students come in late, there should always be breakfast available for the students. Our lunch, we have Meatless Monday and Plant Powered Friday. We have locally sourced products, so on Thursday is New York Thursday, so all the products on Thursdays are from New York, which is great. Our apples are from New York, our chicken is sourced locally in New York. We always, again, have seasonal fresh fruit and vegetables available. We have multiple menu options available daily. So we're serving a K-8 standard menu, we're serving a high school standard menu. We have halal menus, which I'll speak about in a second. There's a school, I have one school district 2 that serves a vegetarian menu for the entire school. There's many different menus that we serve. On the menu, we have V and VE, so for vegetarian and vegan. So you can look on the menu and see what items daily are vegetarian and vegan. All right, every school, not every school, you may think that. I would say that 85% of our schools have a salad bar. The salad bar consists of, I like to say, an accompaniment to the menu. So if we have pizza, I would like to offer, peppers and onions to put on top of the pizza if they want. If it is a taco day, we might serve diced tomatoes, almost like a pico de gallo. So things that accompany the menu every day. But of course, we also have our lettuce. We have some single serving dressings, but we also focus on making dressings, so have homemade dressings too. That's where our recipes come. So we do like to source homemade dressings. It is self-service. The students can go back and take more. We encourage them to take what they're going to eat. We encourage them to try. The salad bar for the elementary schools, I encourage my staff to do finger food. I know that younger kids like the carrots, the tomatoes, the peppers that they can dump. Instead of a salad full of greens. I know students like that, but I've noticed through my years that our elementary kids like the finger foods. And our salad bar sometimes with our staff, especially if our staff is new, it's a trial and error. Do they want the cucumbers plain, or do they want a cucumber and onion salad dress? We have to, figure out what our students like. So right now, we're just probably in the stages of we're understanding what our students like, because September, October, it always changes every year. So that's our salad bar every day. Oops. All right. So we are continuously developing recipes for our vegetarian and our vegan menus. They are continuously working on that. I know, I'm sure many of you know, we work with Wellness in Schools. They partner with them to help us develop vegan and vegetarian recipes. They're always on Fridays, the vegan recipes, but also on other days. So for example, we have tomorrow, we have shawarma, the chicken shawarma, but we also have a chickpea. So it's an option of a chickpea or a chicken. So you can have the chicken option or the vegan option with the chickpea. All right, so our menu nutrition standards. So we do follow the federal USDA National School Breakfast Program and the National School Lunch Program weekly meal patterns and nutritional standards. So it varies by grade and age. It also, we have our meal components, so our meals are made up from our meat alternates, our grains, our vegetables, our milk, and our fruit. So every day for lunch, you're offering one of those. For breakfast, we're offering grains, meat alternates, milk, and fruit. So the students are offered all that, but we can serve them what they want. We must serve for lunch 3 items, One being a fruit and a vegetable, so we can put any of that. So if a child is not into, let's say, chicken, rice, and some plantains for the day, the chicken would be an alternate, the rice would be your grain, and the plantains would be your vegetable, and then we add the fruit. Let's say the child doesn't want a peanut butter and jelly, doesn't want a cheese sandwich, isn't into chicken, but wants some rice, plantains, a milk, that is fine. And then they can grab a fruit and they can have salad bar. We are not forcing things on them, but they have to take 3 out of 5 components for lunch, and one must be a fruit and or vegetable. The New York food standards focus on nutrition of the standard of specific items. So for example, our chicken tenders, sodium cannot exceed 480 milligrams, with no saturated fat, cannot exceed 10% of the total calories. We do have a prohibited ingredient list, so like no soy fillers for the chicken, no high fructose corn syrup we don't use. We also have humanely raised chicken, and 51% is whole grain bread. So we do have standards for all the things that we serve. This is an example of kind of what I just explained with the meal patterns and all the portions of, all the meal patterns that we have served, all the items. If you see here, we have the weekly requirements for breakfast and lunch based on the USDA and the nutritional standards. Does anybody have any questions before I move on about the nutritional standards or anything like that? Okay, so halal. So we are certifying more and more schools in halal. This is something that is becoming more and more popular. It's not as a tedious process as people think it is. So what needs to be done is the school community approach the principal, or the principal can decide based on seeing the school community that you think a halal is a good fit for your school. From then, you can reach out to me directly, or you reach out to your manager, and the manager reach out to me. We look that goes then with the manager, and we survey the kitchen. Do I need more equipment? Do I need to order more smallwares? We need to get the school halal prepared. Do I have to put in more electricity to get another oven? So there's things like that I need to make sure I get done. Once that is done, we then have the moms come in and they certify the school. Once the school is certified, we are then serving halal. Okay? So the halal menu differs a little than like a traditional K-8 menu. So there's a K-8 traditional menu, and then there's a K-8 halal menu. Okay, but it's not, sometimes the process takes longer in some schools than others, just as if I have to put in another oven, or I need another serving unit, or something like that, just to get the equipment in, or to get the electrical done. But otherwise, it's a pretty smooth process once we go in and survey the kitchen. Okay, so meal accommodations, the food allergies. So there are some food allergies that we can deal with on the school level. So for example, if a child is allergic to cheese and we have a sandwich with cheese on it, we can just eliminate, not a cheese sandwich with only cheese, but if it's a sandwich with cheese on it, we can eliminate the cheese. Or if they have an allergy to the breading on the chicken tenders and we have salad with chicken tenders, we can eliminate the chicken tenders and give them another meaty alternate for the salad. So those accommodations can be done on the school level. But then we can also, choose milk. We can order, you just let us know, we can order other alternates in milk. We have soy milk and lactose free. Okay? But a larger meal accommodation, so if a child is celiac, or it's something more severe, or diabetes, and they have to know some things. I just dealt with a school uptown where a child had a sesame allergy. You would, we get a 504 filled out, bring it to the nurse then and the principal get in touch with us. We have a registered dietitian, and we set up a meeting, an actual teams on Outlook is created just for that child and the team behind that child, and we come up with a meal plan. And the manager then orders based on that meal plan, the manager trains the kitchen staff, and we give a start date when we're ready to accommodate that child with their food allergy. So it's really, again, it's not a hard process, you just have to get in touch with us, get in touch with the nurse at the 504. Okay, so we are putting in, and you'll see in many of our high schools, that that we have the CEE line. So the CEE line for high schools and becoming more popular in the junior high or the K-8 buildings are, it's grab and go. The students can actually pick what they want. So instead of someone serving the students, like deciding if you want chicken tenders, do you want a veggie burger, they're already plated out and the students can just go ahead and take what they want. So they can choose, there's different kiosks, there's a cold kiosk and a hot kiosk. So this is really great, especially for the older kids. It makes them feel more empowered. They can choose, they can see, it's a cooler line, they don't have to talk to any, they don't have to talk to the employees in the kitchen if they don't want to. They can kind of just grab what they want, and after a while, they totally get used to it, and they really, I think that they like it even better. They feel older in the high schools that they have this. It's not just not the same one that they had when they were in elementary school. Okay, that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'll answer the best I can.
So we,
Yep.
sorry. I will ask if anybody has any questions.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Procedure, it's not me, it's the
Nope,
lawyers.
I got you.
Does anybody from the council have any questions? Len?
So I appreciate how you're trying to make more healthy options, but what are you doing to encourage, you can have all the healthy options in the world. I can tell you my son falls into this category, but he won't eat them.
Yep.
So what are you doing to encourage children to partake of the salad bar? Because a lot of kids actually just don't eat anything.
Right.
I've seen that. So
Yes, I
what are
have.
you guys doing?
Right, so I definitely see that, and I have one of those too. I have one of those sons who it's in front of him and he might not choose it. We try to market it the best we can. The best way we can is if it's a school that allows parent volunteers in the cafeteria, and I know we have some schools, to get the parent volunteers and help and encourage and be a cheerleader at the salad bar. If we have schools, even the school aides, to encourage. We also say, like, try it a little bit. You might like it. If you don't, let me know, and you can come, we'll give you something else. If there's a new menu item, sometimes the week before or the 2 weeks before, we might do a little small tasting of what's coming up or encourage them. I encourage my managers to go to PTA meetings also to let the school know on the school level what is being served, so they can then report back to their students and kind of prep their students for what is there. Yeah, so we try to market as much as possible, and I understand, unfortunately, there are some kids that are like, no, I don't want anything green on my plate, and I get that. We try to encourage it, and as much as we can, we have staff out there, please try it, just take one cucumber, you might like it, dip it in this, we really do as much as we possibly can.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
There's a bunch down there.
Oh, Jessica?
Thanks. And I'm assuming you're the right person to ask, but maybe you're not.
If not, I can direct you in the right direction.
In terms of amount of food that gets delivered to each school, if there are shortages of certain items, if kids are saying, we've run out, we didn't get to eat, what's?
Right, so that's me.
Yeah.
So the manager places the orders, they're on the school level. But if you feel that this is happening, listen, things happen all of a sudden, like 2 weeks ago, we had Jamaican beef patties in the school and no one ate it because the kids just weren't into it, and now 2 weeks later we have it and the kids love it and we ran out. That happens. But if it's a regular occurrence, you need to reach out to me so I can go in and intervene. This happened just recently last week. I was at a school that was happening. The principals, there's 2 principals in the building, they reached out to me. And I went in and I kind of observed what was going on. I investigated and I noticed the numbers had increased by 100 from last year. And the manager didn't kind of realize it. He didn't do his due diligence in realizing that the numbers had increased. And when I showed him on paper what was going on, we went right in, we ordered more, and now we're good to go. So it's just sometimes the managers just need a little help on the back end, and that's where I come in.
So then if that's happening at schools, what should we tell parents to do?
To reach out to the principal, to reach out to me.
Okay.
To even look for the manager in the kitchen. The manager might not even realize that they might not be there at the end of the day. So every kitchen has a kitchen staff, and then they have a manager. So managers have about 3 to 5 schools. So they might not be at that school, let's say, at the end of the day where they are running out. So they might not notice it, and the staff is not reporting it. Or it could be a case of the food is in-house, and the staff was told to cook 3 cases, and they really needed 4, but they only cooked 3 because they were told to cook 3. instead of being like, no, you need to cook that fourth case. So there's a few different scenarios, but that's where I come in and the manager comes in. It might be an email with both of us on it, and the manager being like, nope, I'm taking care of it, and it's taken care of. But then I might need to intervene to just kind of see what's happening. And that's part of my job. That's why I go out and make sure that our students are fed and getting all the options.
Thank you.
So,
Two questions. The first is, what do you do with the food after breakfast and lunch that doesn't get eaten or served to the students?
Okay, good question. So, for breakfast, usually we have breakfast at the bell, so it is kind of used from there. And then our breakfast items are single-serve items. We can hold them and cool them down, and then we eat them for the next day before service. Usually our breakfast items reheat nicely for the next day. Our lunch items, it really depends on what it is. So some items can be served the next day, but some items like a mozzarella stick isn't going to heat up the next day and have the same integrity that it had the day before. But we have paperwork that we fill out, and we have lots of documents where we're tracking how much we eat. So we are really trying to get it down to figure out how much and to minimize our leftovers. We also, what we do, we call batch cooking. So during the day, let's say there's 4 lunch periods, we're not just cooking, for argument's sake, let's say there's 400 students on an average that eat. We have 4 lunch periods, 100 students. We're not cooking all 400 meals at 10 o'clock. We are cooking as the day goes on, so we can really minimize the leftovers as much as possible. But if there is food left over, and there's a few things we can do. So one, if there's food left over, and we can cool it down properly, and then the next day we can reheat it and give it in the first few periods as another option, as a second option. If it's something that's not going to hold its integrity for the next day, like I said, mozzarella sticks, pizza, they don't really heat up in my experience. They're really great the next day. I wouldn't want to serve them to students. We do discard them, but those are the items we really make sure we are cooking them properly. Then, if it's a pre-wrapped item, so like an applesauce or a pre-made sandwich or something like that, they can go on what we call the share table. So every cafeteria should have a share table. So if you put the applesauce, if Mary puts the applesauce on the share table, and then Johnny's like, I'm still hungry, Johnny can go and take that. There's also a program that can be set up that is a food donation program that I've gone in, a few of my schools have set it up in their district. The principals can reach out to me. A lot of the PTAs get involved and kind of ask for it, so I meet with the PTAs and the principal to kind of see how we get the food donation program started. So that's another option.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, I think if I noticed correctly, you mentioned that there are 80 to 85% of city schools who have a salad bar option every day for lunch. Is there a plan for the other 20 to 50%?
So some of the ones that don't have are, like our pre-Ks. Our pre-Ks don't have salad because they're eating in the classroom. Some of our District 75, because they're eating in the classroom, don't have schools. So it's really those ones that don't. We also, I know we're public schools, but I do feed in the city charter and non-public, and we kind of count those all in with us. And whatever the case may be of the way their kitchens are set up, because they're not our public school kitchens, they might not have. But the schools that don't, it also might be a principal who might say they don't, at the time they don't have it, or at the moment, it might just be we don't have it at the moment because it broke down, we're waiting for repair, we're waiting for a new one, we're redoing the line, it might not fit. I mean, we've been at these schools, sometimes they're teeny tiny. So we're trying to work on it, but I have to say Manhattan has the most salad bars in the entire city. So we are in the uptake of that, and any schools,
I mean, that's not surprising. I was actually wondering
right, I mean, not even just in numbers, but in percentage, if you go by percentage. And if there is a school that doesn't have, and, again, if we're reached out to and they want it, we're gonna get it in there for them. It might have been a principal didn't want it a few years ago and never came in. That principal now has since retired, and it just because it was, and that's never the answer for me. It's always been that way. No, let's change it and do the way that it should be done now.
Charles.
Oh, it's already done. Hello. I think someone asked a question about what happens when there's not enough food, and it seems like you do a good job of tracking everything. So what do you do as far as monitoring the waste? Like how much food do you have from the standpoint of if they over-order, or if, you're talking kids, they pick the item and don't eat it, or you can go through, obviously they're monitoring how to So what are the volumes of waste you think is what consistent?
Okay, so I can't give you a percentage, but I can give you the answer. There's two different scenarios there. So if I go into a school and I see that a manager is busting at the seams of food, or if I get, like, usually the staff calls me and they're like, oh no, we have a delivery, we can't fit it anymore. So they can always fit it. But what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll cut orders that are coming in, and we might have to do a menu change to just finish out what we kind of have in the school. And I make sure that my manager or myself gets in touch with the administration or whoever. Sometimes, a lot of times the parent coordinators help us to make sure that the community knows that we're changing the menu. So to eliminate if we're over order. For waste, if a student took it and doesn't want it, so if it is a pre-wrapped item, it can go on the share table, but unfortunately, if it's like chicken tenders, and they didn't want it, or like they tried something and they didn't want it, we can't, hopefully next time they know, oh, I didn't like this. Well, if they didn't like it, they come back, we're gonna give them something else. But we can't do anything because it's a food safety issue, if it's open, we can't do anything with it. So next time around, we kind of hope that like, oh, I didn't like that, whatever it was, veggie burger. I tried it, I didn't like it, I'd rather a regular burger. When they come back next time, they get a regular burger.
I was just trying to figure out that, just so people can hear me first. I was just asking,
From the standpoint of, because I think earlier in the slide, you said the number of students that we serve roughly 900,000 meals.
Right.
But are they doing something not new? We have, like, at the school level, to like monitor, like how many meals we serve, because how many meals are actually being eaten.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have, there's records that were kept, so they know that they cooked for the school, again, back to the school that served 400, they know that they cooked 420, and they have to have 20 left over. But if they think an item is gonna be super popular, or it's one of those like inclement weather days where we had school, but the attendance was low in some of the schools because students didn't go, and they cooked more, they're gonna figure out why. Oh, wait, it was really bad storm this morning and people ended up keeping their kids to home. Or we didn't realize there was a trip going on, or we didn't realize that the 5th grade was having a party or celebration for X, Y, and Z. That's why we're trying to stay in close contact. So we hope for as little leftovers as possible, and that's where the batch cooking comes in. And when there are days where there is too much, we try to analyze why. Or did we make too much of this because we thought this was going to be the popular item, but it really wasn't? The whole salad was the popular item that day with the meat alternative on top of it. And that's where we go back and analyze. And the good thing about that is our menus are 3-week cycle menus, so we can make that mistake the first time around, and then the next 2 times, because we analyze the data, we know that, like, what to do, how to fix that.
thank you.
Any other questions from the council? Sarah?
So anecdotally, and at least, it's my understanding, banking power varieties. So I know that a lot of this is promotion are ostensibly vegan, mayor is not actually vegan, whatever, it's cool. And, my concern is that for students who have food insecurity and schools is one place where they have food, we're pushing a diet that is not what they chose. Has there been feedback, has there been pushback? My children, not famous. One of my children is lactose sensitive. It's not an uncommon thing, but because it's there, nobody wants to notice it. So sorry for the rest of the afternoon for everybody else. So like I'm putting in that, but really I'm concerned about students where this is their meal on Friday. I'm not getting anything Saturday and Sunday from school, and it's something they don't want. So what sort of feedback are you getting? Is this going to keep going? Like, is it a question being asked in feedback groups?
Right, so that's a really good question. It's not an uncommon question. What my answer can be is that we do have the vegan option on Friday, but we also always have the peanut butter and jelly, the cheese sandwich, the hummus. Those are, as much salad bar as can be taken. That is my answer for you on that. There's a survey on the back of the room for you to use the QR code and put your feedback in and encourage others to do that also.
Chicken dumplings, please. Bring them back.
Chicken dumplings? We have the chicken dumplings. Yeah, they came back. They were on. I really think I ate one the other day. Yeah, they were on. Was it this week or last week? I had one. I tried one the other day. Yes, they did, because that was the school that called me about the sesame allergy. Because unfortunately, the school didn't realize that there was sesame in it, and so yes, they were just on the menu the day. So they did come back. They are very good. Yeah, so I mean, right now, Vegan Friday is here to stay. They are working on more recipes, but again, there's a survey in the back for you to fill out.
Any other questions? Can you tell us, once again, your contact information if people have follow-up questions?
Sure, so my email is agillen, A-G-I-L-L-E-N, the number 2, @schools.nyc.gov. My card is in the back, I like this is a nice stack of them, so, and my cell phone number is in the back, so by all means, go ahead and grab them if you want to take a picture of one and circulate it, that's fine. I'm pretty good with checking my email. I usually get to it within 24 hours. Reach out to me. I'm here. Reach out to your principal to reach out to me. Okay, or go down to your cafeteria and introduce yourself to your school food service manager and your kitchen staff. They love what they do for your students. So, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming. And we will put a copy of this presentation on our CEC website, so anybody who wishes to take a look at it again can do so. And there are handouts in the back.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming. Next up is the first public speakers session. Victor is coming up with the list. Has anybody not signed up who wishes to sign up for the first speaker session? Okay. Victor, if you can get that, can you? Each person gets 2 minutes to speak.
I apologize for getting people's names wrong, but first speaker is Evie Nabusco.
You okay?
Hi, my name is Eva Basso, and I just wanted to speak on Resolution 262. As outlined in 262, Resolution 248 goes against the New York City Department of Education guidelines to support transgender and gender expansive students and the Department of Education guidelines on gender inclusion. Section 9 states, amongst other things, that gender-based students must be permitted to participate in physical education, intramural sports, and competitive athletic activities and contact sports in accordance with the student's gender identity and serving in school. I know we hear a lot about why people think that trans women and trans girls should be included in sports. But most recently, the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, commissioned a cross-sectional study, which involved a visit to a laboratory at the School of Applied Sciences at the University of Brighton in the UK. The study was published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, and the results were released in April of this year. Findings show that trans women athletes are at a relative disadvantage in many key physical areas relating to athletic ability and perform worse on cardiovascular tests than their cisgender counterparts who only perform better in a single category. The research compared laboratory measures of strength, power, and VO2 max of transgender female athletes to their cisgender counterparts. Transgender women, especially demonstrated low performance in the ratio volume of errors in force to exhale, jump height, and maximal oxygen uptake. One of the researchers commented that it's basically trying to move a larger skeleton with a smaller engine. And in fact, transgender women athletes perform the same or repeatedly worse than cisgender women athletes in all categories except one, which was absolute gender strength. Based on this study, we see that trans women are not at disadvantage, or not advantaged, and in fact are disadvantaged. We're also talking, we're talking adults who have been through male puberty, but this is intramural spurts at the academic level, adolescents who haven't been.
Sorry? Your time's up if you could wrap up your comments. No, you can wrap up your comments.
Sorry?
Just.
Oh yeah, and I guess when I say the original document of 2011, it focused on the academic success, mental health, physical health, social-emotional well-being of girls who was never considered. And I would say in fact that's probably exactly what's considered, because I think some of the most other and vulnerable girls participate in sport programs.
The next speaker is Alexandra Roan. And then after that, we have Eli Early.
Good evening, my name is Alexandra Roan. As a transgender woman, software engineer, and fitness enthusiast, I've seen firsthand how important inclusion is. I know from personal experience how much exclusion can harm someone's self-esteem and well-being. These are deep wounds that I still tend to today. That's why I'm here to ask you to rescind Resolution 248. We're not just talking about policies here, we're talking about real students, real lives. Research shows that 41% of transgender youth have attempted suicide at least once. For all kids, the ability to participate in school sports isn't just a game, it's a lifeline. Being part of a team builds confidence, fosters community, and gives them a sense of belonging. The Center for American Progress found there's no widespread evidence showing trans athletes have an unfair advantage in school sports. And analysis shows that trans-inclusive policies have no negative effect on girls' sport participation. In fact, in states with inclusive policies, high school girls' participation in sports remained unchanged from 2011 to 2019, and in states with exclusive policies, girls' participation has decreased. In California and Connecticut, which have inclusive policies, girls' sport participation has increased, including by almost 14% in California from 2014 to 2020. What's truly at stake here is whether we want a school system that makes space for all students, or one that's sided by some. If we allow resolutions like this to stand, we are essentially telling trans kids they don't belong here. Instead of adding barriers, we should be looking at how we can improve access to sports for all students. Rescinding Resolution 248 would be a first step in showing trans students that we see them and value them. Let's stop questioning legitimacy of people's identities and focus on building an inclusive future for every student. Thank you.
Eli Early.
Hi everyone, my name is Eli Erling. I'm an educator and a resident in Manhattan. I want to speak today about Resolution 248 and 262 as someone who actually was one of the trans kids in K-12 schools that this sort of policy would impact. I came out as a trans girl at age 8 when I was in 3rd grade and took up gymnastics. I really enjoyed it and wanted to continue. But when class became segregated by gender, I wasn't allowed to play with the other girls and was completely banned from participating. I, as a child, felt humiliated, targeted, and bullied by my own teacher. But this is only sports, and this is just one of the many areas impacted by Resolution 240. We all know this isn't only about fair play or athletics. It's also about rewriting the city's 2019 guidelines to protect trans students. The goal of Resolution 248 is to remove trans students' basic right to participate in schools free from harassment. It's really about the humanity of trans kids themselves. Questioning children's ability to play sports, take part in a safer educational environment, or receive basic respect from their teachers. It singles out trans kids, making them feel excluded and targeted. So let's not become a city that bullies our own students. Let's show that New York supports all its kids and rescind Resolution 248 by passing Resolution 262 today. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chrissy Rose. And then after that, we have Elizabeth Badali.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Rose. I was here last month, so some of you might remember I'm a martial arts instructor, full contact karate black belt, and 7-knockdown champion. Hopefully none of us will have to be here next month, and you won't have to say that again. Resolution 248 is supposedly about protecting women and girls. Trans women and girls are women and girls. This resolution does not protect that. It actively harms and endangers them, but we all know that. It's just that some members of this committee think only some women and girls are worthy of protection. Let's unpack that. Aside from transphobia, this resolution is based on the simple fact that these committee members think cis women are weak. while practicing combat sports with them. Stop using this flimsy, insulting argument. As an athlete who is assigned female at birth, I am telling you, stop using me as an excuse for your small-minded hatred. I am honored to train and compete with trans athletes. Resolutions like 248 do the opposite of protecting cis women. They're another way of holding us back. They reinforce the misogynistic, paternalistic idea that women are weak, and they also deprive us of all of the amazing contributions of our trans teammates. My most committed, talented, and generous training partner is a trans woman. In my last tournament, she was my coach. She was quite literally in my corner and instrumental to my success. I would not have that role model without her. I would not be the martial artist that I am without her. Trans athletes aren't a threat or a liability, they're an asset. Preventing trans kids from participating in sports as their true selves doesn't just hurt trans kids, it also robs their peers of incredible teammates. I want to leave this debate with a quote. You are allowed to say at any point, I can't support this. Even if you did. Even if you were unsure. And while the best time to say that was earlier, second best time is now. Thank you.
Hi, thanks. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Vida. I'm primary organizer for Women NYC and Status of Alumna. Of course, being a staunch advocate for women's rights, I will always support Resolution 248 and any measure that seeks to include women and girls as stakeholders in decisions that affect them. But there's another aspect of these meetings that I might be able to help with. I can get a doctorate in math because I have a fancy job. I did it because both my parents were narcissists. Using a rigid formal logic requiring mathematical proofs is how I was able to convince myself the abuse wasn't my fault. And that has helped support other women who are being continually lied to about the burden our patriarchal society. I strongly believe that council should stand still regarding Resolution 248 because the social movement is using undue influence to suppress free thought. When exposed to extreme social pressure and manipulation tactics, people's reasoning processes and independent thought can be hijacked, and it can be convinced to support ideas they don't otherwise. Toward the end of attempting to resolve this disagreement, I urge council members to read Combating Cult Mind Control by Stephen Son, and also A Gift of Fear by Gavin Becker, if you're not familiar with manipulation tactics predators use to manipulate people. And if you think I'm wrong and I'm the one spreading this information, reading these books is still a good idea because it makes you more effective at countering mind control tactics. Until this is resolved, I'll continue presenting anti-manipulation heuristics to the best of my ability. However, I strongly encourage all parties to research on their own and comment comes from within.
Thank you. Next speaker is DJ King. And then after that, we have August E. Do we have EJ or RJ King? All right. August E.
Thank you so much. Hi, my name is August. It's nice to meet all of you. Thank you for taking time to speak today. I'm a youth crisis counselor, a film nerd at Pisces, and I've been trans for over 13 years. It's been heartwarming to hear about these of belonging, to see students, faculty, family, community members show up and voice their love for children, for these children that we're talking about today. I think fear, shame, and guilt will cause people to make hurtful choices. When you're afraid, it's much easier to shut something out and ignore it rather than give it a seat at the table. And even worse is the guilt. How can you go back on a decision that you've already made your mind up on? But it's okay to change your mind and learn new things. I hope everyone in this room can admit to themselves that they've made mistakes and want to be better. A better friend, a better listener, a better student, a better parent, a better ally. I'm here today because of love. As a crisis counselor, most of the kids that I talk to are between the ages of 10 and 14, the ages of some of the kids that we're talking about. I would never want a child to feel like they needed to talk to a stranger on the internet, rather than their counselors, their teachers, their friends, and their family. As you heard, a recent study found that anti-trans laws caused up to a 72% increase in suicide attempts among young trans and non-binary youth. In a room of 10 trans students, that is at least 7 of them attempting suicide, and you have the power to help them today. I saw a sign in this room a few weeks ago that said, "No child is born in the wrong body," and I wasn't. I was born to be here to fight for love and those around me. I was born trans. I was born to be in this room and to tell you that you are deserving of love and that you are not broken or wrong. You are perfect. Trans, cis, whoever you are. To all the trans kids watching, I will never give up on you. We will never give up. And I urge everyone to choose love over fear. I urge you to tell bullies that they are not welcome in our schools. Thanks.
Question for you. And after that, we have a lot of dads.
Hi, my name is Kristen Fiore. I'm a climber and coach of the Drift Climbing, and the co-founder of an organization called Trans Climbers Belong. Trans Climbers Belong was formed 1 year ago when USA Climbing, the governing body of closed climbing in the United States, announced harmful and restrictive trans participation policies. In October 2023, I cried. Earlier today, in a coffee shop in Queens, I cried over this policy again. Because I was sitting at my computer, editing USA Climbing's next trans athlete participation policy. Because after a long and arduous grassroots campaign, USA Climbing invited trans climbers to be members of their registry for a new policy. How did an organization that passed harmful and restrictive policies to trans climbers invite trans people to rework their policy less than a year later? I listened. Our organization educated our community on the realities of trans participation in our sport and dissected and dispelled the myths and misinformation that these policies were founded on. While mistakes and missteps were aplenty, USA Climbing was ready to listen. I'll never forget when at the end of our first meeting, a member of their team said, "After this meeting, I can't see how we move forward without trans women's input on this policy." One of the most important lessons I've learned about conflict is that in order to resolve it, you must be willing to sit next to, not across from each other, to place the problem on the table and look together for a solution. When you pass resolutions like this without listening to those who it impacts, and place us on the other side of the table, you lose your opportunity to collaborate. You lose your opportunity to learn. You place what you feel over what is true. You have an opportunity to learn from the voices in this room and beyond. Please do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elena Daniels, and I'm a proud progressive educator and activist. In March, Bob Aaron co-sponsored Resolution 248, a resolution designed to whip up trans panic and attack the DOE's existing protections for trans kids. 2/3 of CECD2 members then voted to pass Resolution 248. Since then, Bob has used his position on CECD2 to attack me, repeatedly discrediting me in the press. We know that attacking trans girls is just one part of her hateful, harmful agenda. Before all of this, Bob was on our radar for her work banning books and attacking Black racial justice leaders. She has a long resume from working hard to maintain the deep racial and economic segregation of New York City public schools, to putting Jewish students in danger by weaponizing false accusations of anti-Semitism. This morning, I spoke at the press conference outside City Hall, where Hedge Clippers, Alliance for Quality Education, Transformative Schools, Citizen Action of New York, and Strong Economy for All released reports about the billionaires who've been funding MOD and place NYC's hateful agenda. Here's a copy of the report for every member of the council. I'll bring them up when I'm done. And to members of the public, I have 2 additional copies, and a digital copy is available on the Transformative Schools Instagram and Linktree. The coalition members that turned out this morning and again this evening are here because we know that law is attacking trans kids, because she thinks that it's strategic. Maud thinks that the queers won't show up for the black folks, and the black people won't show up for the Jewish folks. The Jewish people won't stand up for Palestinians, and the Palestinians won't show up for trans kids. But she's wrong. We're proving that right now. We are stronger together, and together we will win.
Give us a victory.
Can I be teacher style and hand it to you and say pass them down?
Yeah, that's fine. You can give it to Sabina.
Thank you.
Cool.
Next speaker is Ro Penna.
Hi, I'm Romania, co-founder of Conformity Social and Thank you for that. I've been an educator for quite some time, but I'm also a lifelong learner. Throughout life, I've collected several adages from family members, friends, and community members alike. Perhaps you've collected some community better safe than sorry or slow and steady win the race. Adages are meant to be guiding tools we use to navigate the intricacies of living along with one another and with ourselves. One adage that I hold near and dear is, mean what you say what you mean. If you scroll down the CEC District 2 website, towards the center of the page, a portion of their message to us, the public community members, reads, quote, "Your presence brings fresh perspective and valuable insight that will contribute to the collaborative efforts of fostering a supportive and enriching learning environment for our students. Together, we can make a positive impact on education, ensuring that every child receives the best possible opportunity for growth and success." End quote. Make a positive impact on education, ensuring that every child receives the best possible opportunity for growth and success. Positive impact, every child, growth, and success. When you say every child, you must mean every child. Including every trans child, including every non-binary child, every gender-expansive child. They all deserve growth and success. Rescind Resolution 238.
Our next speaker is Ali Blake. And after that, we have Myra Kurzer.
My name is Ali Blake, and I am a queer and trans educator and education scholar. I joined today with the vast majority of this group and the group that has joined for the last month since March and beforehand in support, enthusiastic support of Resolution 262, and more importantly, with so much love for trans youth. I think that this is worth repeating again and again. Members of this council who sponsored and voted yes on Resolution 248 last school year, which was never binding, have used that fact to deflect and attempt to justify either continuing to vote against or abstaining from a vote on each of the resolutions that were in 248. You have claimed that these resolutions are wasting, in some way, wasting your time, wasting the committee's time from real work, because 248 was never binding. Which in a sense is true, it was binding. But passing the resolution did not lead to the outcomes explicitly called for, such as creating a supposed task force of TERFs with supposed expertise. Council members then, in conversation with many other groups putting forth similar measures, as you can see in this report if you read it, across the country, guided by far-right organizing, wrote and voted in favor of Resolution 248, knowing that the resolution would not directly lead to any such committee. The aim, then, is to increasingly normalize actions that attack the personhood of trans people, and here, trans girls especially. More than that, your aim is to chip away at the personhood of trans people, and especially trans girls and trans femmes, in order to normalize attacking the As others spoke about, this is not just about trans kids. We will not allow any such story to proceed unchallenged. We will say this again and again. We will keep showing up to make clear that we do not accept the reality where it is normal to attack the personhood of any trans youth or anyone. It is never a waste of time to make it loud and clear that trans youth are beloved. So I'll say it again. Trans youth, you are beloved, and we will keep dedicating our time to making that clear and making a world that makes it clear too.
Good evening. I'm Liv Revinson, meaning I'm married to the rabbi of East End Temple, which is a Reformed synagogue here in District 2. And I'm the mother of a 5-year-old trans girl who's in first grade at a New York City public school. My daughter Clara knows that school is a safe place where grown-ups will help her if she's scared or hurt. And we as parents have recourse through the DOE to protect our child. And yes, real threats exist even here in New York City. A year later, my daughter still talks about the teacher who wouldn't let her use the bathroom with the other girls, the parent who wouldn't stop misgendering her and screamed at me at kindergarten drop-off that my son is a danger to other children. 2 days ago, Clara told me she's worried that restaurants will refuse to serve her because she's trans. She said she's afraid that prejudiced grown-ups want to kill her. And this is with the protections that Resolution 248 is trying to strip away. Don't tell me I'm being hysterical and it's just about girls' sports. Who do you propose is going to make my high girl drop her pants before she can compete in the chess tournament she is excited about this weekend? Oh, but we're just asking questions. That is a bad faith excuse for bigotry. Just asking. Just asking whether my daughter is a real girl will have an immediate and profound and obviously predictable negative effect on her, on us, and on all the other children like her. In fact, it is starting to seem like that is the goal. The obvious effect of an action can reasonably be imputed to you as its intent. To ostracize her, to drive her into hiding, to make her ashamed to be herself, to encourage others to hurt her if they can. You want to listen to parents' wishes? Listen to me when I tell you what my child needs. You want to help girls? You want to protect girls? Protect my daughter. I'm begging you, remove the shameful stain that Resolution 248 has placed on this district and rescind it immediately.
And then after Megan.
I'm doing the timer.
And then after Megan, we have Annalise Shante.
Good evening. At the last few meetings, there's been a lot of misinformation about gender identity, about biological sex or sex assigned at birth. And although my books are written for an audience of ages 2 to 6, I thought it might actually be helpful for some of you all. Yeah. So we're going to start at the beginning. This book is called Being You, A First Conversation About Gender. There's only one you in the whole world. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Maybe 10 yellow ones to look up.
You have a body. Everybody does. What do you love about your body? Different bodies have different parts. Elbows. Can I see your elbows? Woo! Noses. Where are your noses? Belly buttons. You don't have to show me your belly button. Some bodies have a vagina. Some bodies have a penis. Every person's body parts look different. But there are some parts we all have. When a baby is born, grown-ups might say it's a girl if their body has a vagina. Or it's a boy if their body has a penis. Sometimes grown-ups aren't sure, but they choose the words girl or boy anyway. What did your grown-ups call you when you were born? Some babies grow into a different gender than the one that grown-ups called them. There are lots of different genders that you can grow into. Some people are girls, where are the girls? Woo! Some people are boys, where are the boys? Some people are neither. Some people are both. What are some genders that you all know about?
So 2 minutes are up, if you could kind of wrap it up.
All right, we'll pause there, and maybe I'll pick up again at the next speaker session. Thank you all for listening.
I want to say, first of all, thank you to those of you who recognize that questioning the right of trans kids to exist is absolutely unacceptable, and this is obscene that we're here. To the rest of you, I don't want you anywhere near my child's education or any child. Not wrong. And I'm guessing that you're probably not going to do the right thing tonight. So I'm really looking forward to organizing all of the parents of my school and all of the other parents around here to vote you out. Woo!
Our next speaker is Molson. I apologize for pronunciation of the last name. And then our final speaker will be Liz Tomasetti.
Hey, I'm Mo, as you all may know from previous meetings, which is pretty sad, right? As we all know. And I'm glad that you were able to name the journals that have come out, and obviously the nation that it was 72%. It's not only almost 50% that transgender, queer, and gender expressive students are at risk to take their lives, but it's that it has increased 72%. It's not wild to see the anti-trans legislation that has come out in schools and see a 72% increase. I think what's even more sad is I don't even feel like speaking to the resolution, but what keeps happening in these meetings. Last time, you had a student in high school who identified as trans, and they also felt the need to qualify that they weren't her children or weren't a pedophile. You are already harming your child. And the students that come to these meetings, I'll tell you what, you invite gays against rumors into these spaces. Where do you think that student got that belief from? What do you think gays against rumors stand for?
They know exactly what it is.
I went up to that student after the meeting to thank them, and you know what we both share? I'm trans, I'm a mental health provider. I have that fear too. I was scared to go up to that student. I'm scared to go up to children because of groups like Gays Against Groomers, Save the Children, the CECD board meeting on this side. Because we put out resolutions like that. I did go up to them, I did thank them, and you know what they wanted to talk about? How they had to go home to homework, 2 hours of homework, their college application, where they want to focus on climate change and the environment. They don't want to be spending their evenings at CC board meetings, qualifying their identity, their gender expression, how they're not going to harm children. They want to be studying for the future, for themselves to live full-bodied lives like the rest of us. 72%. It's unacceptable. I know my time is up. You all not only need to extend this resolution, you all take an apology. But to their allies and their friends, and to these people on this side of the table as well.
That's right.
Woo!
Our last speaker is Liz Thomason.
And Allison on her phone. They don't want to be. They're reading the report. Maybe they're enthralled by learning about their donors.
Good report.
Hi. I'm a parent of a 9-year-old. Yes. I'm gonna try not to cry, which I really don't want to do. I'm a parent of a 9-year-old transgender kid in District 15, okay? I want to tell you that a loved one, not my child, who is trans, less than 10 days ago, survived a suicide attempt. The statistics that everyone is citing, what everyone here is saying week after week, those statistics are true. I don't know why, maybe. Do you think they're not true?
Yeah, they don't believe in evidence.
I hold the knowledge that my transgender child has an almost 1 in 2 chance, but tonight I learned it's actually fucking higher of losing her life to suicide. She's 9 years old and she has already said that she wants to be dead. I want to be very clear to all of you that that is not because of her sexuality or her gender identity, okay? It's because of policies and practices that are exclusionary and stigmatizing. Resolution 248 is exclusionary and stigmatizing. Those of you who are continuing to support this resolution must understand something. Please just think about this. You are part of the statistic. You are voluntarily choosing to increase the odds that a child will die by suicide. Like, come on! I'm fucking angry. Thank you.
That concludes our first public speaking session.
Thank you. Thanks, Len. Okay, thank you for all the speakers. On the president's report, let me just put my reading glasses on, sorry. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. I hope everyone has had a good first 6 or so weeks of school. I would like to thank our host tonight, PS33, Principal Cindy. Thank you for your hospitality. I would also like to acknowledge the first half of October was the second half of Hispanic Heritage Month, and also note that October is Filipino American History Month, German American Heritage Month, and Italian American History Month. If I'm leaving out anything else, I apologize. Lots going on in the district. We have a new chancellor, Melissa Aviles Ramos. We welcome her to the position, although she's certainly not a newcomer to New York City education. We look forward to working with her. And we wish David Banks a happy retirement and thank him for his service to the New York City school system. The superintendent has started his school spotlight series, where district leaders visit a school in the district each month to learn about their programs and how they deliver services to their students. I had the privilege of attending the first spotlight at PS212 last week and learned so much about family engagement and how literacy is taught. I want to thank Principal Kay Luia, I may be pronouncing that wrong, I apologize, Assistant Principal Mark Subia, and Parent Coordinator Diana Casper for being gracious hosts in putting together the morning. Wit and wisdom is being implemented in full force throughout the district. Some of us on the council have been approached by parents with concerns and questions. Superintendent McGuire and I have discussed this, and we both think it's a good time to have a parent engagement session where we can talk about wit and wisdom, and families can have the opportunity to ask questions or express concerns. We're working on a wit and wisdom committee meeting in the next few weeks for this, so please be on the lookout. We will likely have the School Construction Authority here next month to give their annual update, so anyone interested should attend. Last month, I did speak at the PEP, in my own capacity, of course, about last month's resolution on Omni cards. I do know that several other CCECs passed their own versions of the resolution, including CCSC, we have a member here tonight. There are many challenges to implementation, but it's absolutely doable. I know several of us will continue to advocate. And finally, I would like to take a quick moment to thank Anthony Settle for his service to our schools and District 2 in particular. Many of you do not know who Anthony is, but he's an unsung hero. He was our FACE representative and has worked with District 2 for years with our President's Council and closely with our district team. Anthony just retired. He was always accessible to us and provided us with sage wisdom and guidance, and we wish him well. I'm going to ask Len if he wants to say a few words. As many of you, or some of you, most of you probably do not know, Len was the head of the District 2 President's Council for many years and worked very closely with Anthony.
Yeah, I just want to say Anthony Settle is just, an amazing, fabulous person. We wish him the best in his retirement. I think, quite frankly, Kelly, you'd agree, is too young to retire. People should not be allowed to retire at that age. But we wish him the best of success. He was always a wonderful representative on behalf of FACE, and he really helped us out. And he was always there for us, and he was pretty good at navigating the different personalities, not so much of the President's Council, but at the CEC. And Anthony, I want to thank you. He's been an extremely valuable resource to our district, and it's great working with him. I wish him, again, the best in his retirement.
Thanks, Ben. That being said, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I wish everyone a good rest of October, and wish everyone a fun and safe Halloween. And that leads into our superintendent's report. Mr. McGuire. There should be one.
We have your report out here.
Yeah, I'm going to share it for the big folks at home.
Thanks so much for having me tonight, Council. Before I get started, just a few quick things. Number one, I do want to reiterate the New York City Department of Education's commitment to transgender students, gender expression. We do have a new Chancellor Ramos Navidas Ramos.
Sorry.
I was going to get on.
Sorry about that.
And I also just want to say that there is, under our new chancellor, there is no commitment to bring to the table the issue of forming a committee as outlined in Resolution 248. So we are proud of the work we are doing as a city, as a district, and as a schools, our 51 District 2 schools. I also want to express my deep appreciation for Jennifer Greenblatt as well. Jennifer worked for our district for 21 years, and there were so many stories that have come out recently in regard to the work that she did. In every single one of our schools, we have a parent coordinator, sometimes two. The school has chosen to hire a second parent coordinator. And I had the opportunity to meet with those parent coordinators. And each of them had stories about how Jennifer went out on a limb to support them individually and their school communities. I learned so much from her, and but I know that we're going to be able to continue and be strong in the years ahead because of what she has taught us. And I also want to give a quick plug for school lunches. As a principal for 14 years, principals are entitled to a free lunch. You know that or not. And for 14 years, I ate peanut butter and jelly and apple and a chocolate bone. And remain strong today. So, plug for the school lunches. I guess the chicken dumplings did occasionally make it in the repertoire. They are very tasty. So thanks so much for having me tonight. I do want to start with a few things. We have a lot to celebrate in our district. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that we have 5 Blue Ribbon, National Blue Ribbon Award-winning schools. Over the years, we've had many of our schools that have applied to receive this honor. Only a few hundred schools receive this honor every single year across the country. I also want to acknowledge that one released publicly, but PS 150, which is one of our National Blue Ribbon Award-winning schools, the principal, Nico Victorino, Dr. Nico Victorino, was awarded the Rally Award for outstanding leadership. This is given to only 4 or 5 principals across the country each year. So we wish Dr. Victorino this honor. We're very proud of him and proud of his schools, as well as all of the schools we have in District 2, including 17 that have been National Blue Ribbon Award winners over the past few years. As CEC President Selskin mentioned, we had our first spotlight visit of the year. Our CEC members, our CEC president, is invited to all of our spotlight visits, and we are extending this invitation to our CEC members as well. Our first spotlight visit was on October 10th at Midtown West, PS212, which shares a building with the EAS, in case you're familiar with that building. But our next spotlight visit is at Broome Middle School, MS14 on November 6th, and we're expecting good work from them as well. The mission of the spotlight schools was that we wanted to turn the work that we were doing inside schools inside out, to give you the opportunity to see what was going on in our schools, and for you to be able to see the connections that we are making between the broader citywide initiatives and how that's working out, playing out in individual schools. So throughout the year, we have about 1 per month, and we're looking forward to those. We're inviting our CEC members, our PTA presidents, council president. We are inviting members of the school leadership, where the spotlight visit is held, as well as elected officials, members of our CSA, UFT unions, and it's been, we kicked off a really strong start at Midtown West last week. A couple of things we wanted to highlight from Midtown West. They had 2 different areas of focus. One was in regard to how it is that they are engaging families, and the other, which they call waiting time, which is what I need now time, is an opportunity that they have built into the school day to give kids structured, focused support in reading, regardless of whether they are reading below grade level or whether they're reading above grade level. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a second. In regard to parent engagement, there are a couple things that I thought were particularly special about how Midtown West does their parent engagement. One is that they allow their parents to come into the building every single day and have breakfast with their students. They have a very strong structure for how this goes. This isn't something that can be easily achieved in schools, but they really figured it out and do a nice job of that. The second thing that they do is they make a deliberate attempt to connect any new parent with a mentor. A parent who has been in the building for more than 1 year, and somebody who really can help to shepherd that person through the Midtown West process. It is an incredibly strong community, and that shows up in some of the data that we see on the New York City School Survey. This is the school, these New York City School Survey data are available on the Department of Education website, and we see that in Midtown West, their data are strong with a very satisfied parent community. One thing that's also really special about the way that these data show up is that they make sure that 100% of parents complete this survey, which is a really fantastic achievement. So their second area of focus was the what I need time. I don't expect you to necessarily read through all of this or understand what all of this is, but basically what I wanted to do is just by showing this slide was to just highlight the way that the school has deliberately focused on serving different students in their school, regardless of what their area of need are. Schools can approach programming in a passive way, or schools can really take control and make sure that their programming is responsive to the needs of their students, and the school certainly has done that. I also want to congratulate PS3. PS3 was invited to participate in an ongoing exhibition at the Whitney Museum called Edges of Daily. Dr. Higgins, our deputy superintendent, and I, along with a few of our team members today, had a chance to go and see PS3. 2 different classes, one from ASD Horizons and another fourth grade class for PS3. So about 40 kids in total came to Wiki, and they participated in an advanced workshop that was built around Alvin Ailey, the work of Alvin Ailey. It was really, really incredible to see. They are taking two fifth grade classes tomorrow, an AST class and a general education class. Salt Middle School, also one of our National Blue Ribbon Award winners, but Salt Middle School has been recognized nationally for the work that they do on a literary magazine. The Salt School of Science has an award-winning literary magazine as well. So they are going to receive the Realm Award at the National Council of Teachers of English Education, National Council of Teachers of English Conference, which is going to be held later on this year. This is an incredibly powerful award, and their work is excellent. So I've been asked for a little bit of data, and in the next coming slides, I'm going to share some of those data. At our last CEC meeting, some members of our CEC asked for more specific data related to bullying and harassment, and specifically how it relates to LGBT students who are LGBTQ identifying. And in the next set of data, I'm going to highlight some things in regards to enrollment. So we have a small team of folks who are registered to, but they weren't able to pull out data connected specifically to bullying allegations related to LGBTQ identifying issues and gender. So last year there were 51 allegations across our district. This is in the 2023-24 school year. 45 of those allegations were substantiated. They fell down under three different categories: gender expression, gender identity, and sexual orientation. So in regard to gender expression, the child was asked whether or not they were a boy or a girl. There were 6 incidences of that type in our district that were reported. In regard to gender identity, there was a specific, deliberate, and incorrect use of pronouns. There were 9 of those instances, and 36 instances of discrimination against students in regards to sexual orientation, that would include slurs, or heat, or teasing. Harassment would be added as a descriptor in any one of these. We know that we have a lot of work to do in our district. We know we have a lot of work to do in our schools. We have in close partnership with our Respect for All liaisons, with our teachers who are leading our advisory work. We want to make sure that all of our schools are places where students feel appropriate. We also are asked to share some data in regards to middle school enrollments. And over the past couple of years, middle school enrollment has fluctuated, and interest in our schools, specific sets of schools, has fluctuated as well. Specifically, there was a really good question that was asked last month in regard to why a certain subset of schools did not take very many students off the waiting list. And it's a good question. What our enrollment office does is that they respond to the interests and needs of schools and what the trends and patterns are in regard to how students, whether or not students enroll in the school. So, for example, if we see that works, so here we can go ahead. Okay, so here we see in 2023, Eastside Middle School had 148 seats. There were 152 offers, but as somebody accurately pointed out, there were students who were taken off the wait list for Eastside Middle School because we didn't see 152 students show up for Eastside Middle. So then in 2024, the enrollment office adjusted their offer number. They raised that to 185, and not necessarily 150, but pretty close to 150 students did show up and accept those offers. We see similar patterns across several of the schools that were asked about in our last meeting, that the number of offers did go up, except for Clinton, the Clinton school, where as our only 6 to 12 school, it's a very, very popular school amongst our families. Many of the students do show up, families do feel fortunate to be able to attend a 6 to 12 school, and so that number actually went down. We also see a couple couple of schools where the number of applicants rose dramatically. And we think that that is probably due to the implementation and the addition of screening academic programs for both Peru Middle School and Wagner Middle School. We saw a large number of students place those schools on their applications. And just a little breakdown in terms of how students fare in their middle school choice process. We see that 90% of our students receive a school that was one of their top 3 offers. We are implementing a new literacy curriculum and working with the literacy shifts across our district and across our schools. The curriculum that we are using in our district is with wisdom, which we're very, very excited about. Right now, across our district, our schools are right in the middle of Module 1. Instead of saying units, we say modules in With Wisdom. And our goal is really to get to about 4 of those modules throughout the year. We're in the middle of Module 1, which is ending in November. We're also learning a lot about how to use the assessment tools to get a fair understanding of how students are performing. And as a part of the NYC Reads initiative, our teachers across the district are engaged in job-embedded coaching. Each school has about 20 to 25 days in which a coach comes in and works directly with teachers, the leadership, and teams in order to implement the wisdom curriculum as well as foundational literacy, which is what we understand as phonics, language building, and fluency. We have 3 tools that we and families would find really, really helpful right now in terms of learning more, not just about living wisdom, but also about the shifts in literacy that we are working on both as a district and as a city. Those documents are here. 2 of them are videos, they're not very long, and one of them is a set of activity sheets. Basically, an activity sheet is a short breakdown of what students are doing at each grade level within each module. I have worked with President Slutsky to make sure that these are posted on the CEC website. We will make sure to send these documents out as well. All of these resources that we currently have available, and we watched them once earlier in the year when we were just really beginning to understand these curricula, really beginning to understand these shifts. And they make so much more sense now. There are connections that I'm making to the video that was prepared in partnership with our literacy folks on our district team that just are very, very enlightening, and I make all kinds of connections as I'm looking at costumes. As we look ahead to the remainder of this year, or at least the next few months, we are seeking to get through 3 to 4 modules. We want to teach them well. So we say 3 to 4 modules within each school. We're going to continue to build capacity both of our teachers and of our school leaders. In the coming months, you're going to see a lot of information in regard to how your children are doing using tools that are connected to the curriculum, how your schools are doing, and how our district is progressing through the implementation of this work. We also, as President Slutsky mentioned, we do want to make sure that we are providing something at the district level in support of the implementation of With Wisdom. And so, by the end of the week, we will have posted to the CECD website as well as the District 2 website a form in which families can submit questions that they may have. We want to make sure that whatever questions families have, we are responsive to those. So our intention is to collect questions, both from families and from teachers, and then we will work to design workshops that we can provide for families. We're going to do that on an ongoing basis. Next week, we have a conference for all of our elementary school leaders, and we're going to use a portion of that time to allow them to share things that they've done at their schools to help deepen the understanding for looking at some curriculum, what they're doing, what they can expect within their schools. So we're going to do some sharing across the schools in the next week of together. But again, we intend also to do work that is responsive to the questions and needs of families as well. We are also, though, most of our schools are entering the second year of the NYC STALLS initiative, that is the implementation of a curriculum, a common curriculum across all of our middle schools. Several of our middle schools are now entering their third year of the use of the illustrative math curriculum. In our district, we have seen a lot of success with the illustrative math curriculum. We have maintained an Algebra 1 pass rate that is above 85% for our 8th graders, and we have seen growth in our 6th and 7th graders from 76% last year to over 82% this year. We did an amazing job of implementing this curriculum, both supporting teachers, supporting school leaders, being there when teachers needed support, having a clear message about how the work should go in schools, and really being there for our teachers. And so we feel very good about how it is that we went about this work, and we think that that's paying off results. As we go into this year, we're going to continue to help our principals and assistant principals understand what real high-quality instruction looks like, so we're building their leadership capacity. And just last night, there was an example of a family math plan that we're hoping to spread across all of our schools. Wagner Middle School hosted several hundred families for our family math plan. They did problems other than wisdom, other than the illustrative math curriculum, and they had a fantastic time. Again, in the coming months, you can hear a lot about how our kids are doing, our schools, and their district. And to get close to closing, yes, we have a new chancellor, Chancellor Aviles Ramos. She has done a lot here in New York City, and you see all of her credentials up here. I had the opportunity to work directly with Chancellor Aviles Ramos over the past 2 years, when she has really led the open arms work for the city. There were days in which we were in contact multiple times, in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening, trying to understand what was going on in our schools, how our schools were doing, what was needed. She was always incredibly responsible, incredibly responsive, and somebody who just wants to roll up her sleeves at every opportunity and get ready to do it. So it's been wonderful to welcome her, and to get to know her a little bit over the past couple of years, and can't wait to host her in our schools. And finally, just a few dates. We do have a bunch of holidays coming up in the month of November. And so some new holidays. We're going to be honoring Diwali for the first time in New York City. And in November, I'd say the standard schedule for conferences is listed here. Some schools do choose to adjust their conference schedule, and so your school might do that. And then I did want to make sure to include the dates for the winter recess, which you may have heard about because Monday is December 23rd. Well, December 23rd is a Monday, and the first day off is Tuesday. So
we should do a resolution on that.
But this is the schedule, and so right now, we look forward to starting December 24th.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. And I will expect to see you at my school for an observation on December 23rd. I'm sure Pat would love it. I had a couple of questions, and then I'll turn it over. Oh, sorry. There you go. So thank you, Superintendent. I had a couple of questions on several topics. So on bullying, were most of the protagonists students or teachers or a combination thereof? Is there a trend there?
All of the incidents that were reported in these data were student to student.
student to student. Is there separate data for teacher to student?
They are not recorded in this system.
In this system.
They are recorded in a different system that would actually be with the city as a bullying incident from teacher to student or student to teacher that would involve other agencies.
Okay. And then you said the total number was 50, I think it was 51 complaints, I think most of which were substantiated.
Yes, 45.
Right. What was the total number of bullying incidents overall?
I can get those people.
Okay, because I'm just trying, obviously, one is too many, clearly, but I'm just trying to understand the magnitude overall, if District 2 has a broader issue. On enrollment, thank you for the information, that's some of the information that I had requested I had asked enrollment for. Do we have because several folks have asked now that middle school, I think they're finally open, or I know they were delayed, so. Do we have the minimum GPA that was needed to qualify for each of the 4 new screen programs?
There is not a minimum GPA that is set in order to serve as a cutoff for whether or not students are eligible for a screening program or not. I said in the past that the score was around a 3.4. We are making sure that I encountered this at one school, a bit of misinformation, and I want to make sure that we do a good job of correcting that. At one school, some families of current 5th graders were under the impression that students had to have a GPA average of 4.0 in order to qualify for that school program. And that is not true. It does vary a bit from school to school, depending on amongst the 4 schools that have screening programs.
And as you look at the offers made for this year, or for last year, starting this year, are you planning on a similar number of offers in the coming year in each school? And how do you reconcile that with class size implementation? Because we don't, you have to create the space, and you may not necessarily have those spaces in any of all of our middle schools, or many of our middle schools. So what are your thoughts on the numbers for this coming year, and how do you reconcile that with class size implementation?
I don't know. I can't really answer that right now. I don't know. I know that we have a goal as a system next year of reaching 60% of all classrooms to meet the new class size cap limits. And I don't know if you don't have what to say. And so I know that there are folks working on this at different levels, but it is very hard. It is very hard in our district under the current circumstances, both the budgets that our schools have, the physical space that our schools have, to achieve anything close to 60% in our district. And so we will certainly partner with the city or other agencies to try and work on this, but we also know that it's going to require some resources.
Is there any concern that for the 4 zone schools, I'm not talking about screen versus not screen program, just the 4 zones, that there would be any chance or scenario where if a child is zoned for a school, because of the class size implementation, they may not get into their zone school. So if I'm zoned for 75 Morton, is there a chance that, even though I'm zoned for it because of the class size implementation, my child will not have that as a fallback option, may not have that as a fallback option?
I am not seeking to cause panic in any kind of way in regards to this issue. I haven't heard anything about plans for families not being able to attend their zone elementary or middle school.
Okay. All right, I want to let my other council members ask questions. We'll start with Gavin Hill.
No, I will defer to our student.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Can she use that one rather than this?
Okay.
That one's much better.
I think it works. So, sorry, the first question I have is kind of logistically about, you very briefly mentioned December 23rd, that Monday. I'm just curious, as a student who will most likely not wish to go to school that Monday before winter recess, is there like a plan in place to deal with the kind of lack of student attendance that you can kind of expect?
All I can say is that if students aren't in school on December 23rd, they are absent.
Okay. And then my other question was, sorry, I wrote it down, was regarding was regarding the data collected regarding bullying for LGBTQ students. I'm curious because I know it's still the first month of school, but that number seems quite low, which is great, but I'm curious if, from my own experience, I know that a lot of like teasing and harassment happens like outside of what adults see, or may not be reported, or may not be because of peer pressure or other things. I'm just curious, is the data taken from an anonymous survey? Is it taken from what's reported? Is there kind of like a system in place to ensure that students have anonymity in the reporting of events? Thank you.
So just to clarify, those data were what was reported throughout the entire 2023-2024 school year.
Oh, okay.
But I think that you raised a fair point. Are the data that are reported fully accurate? And there isn't a way for us to know that right now. We do know that our principals and assistant principals, sometimes guidance counselors, who are the folks who are primarily responsible for reporting those data. We do trainings with people every single year on how to do that. And we are in the process of doing that again this year. And the data may show up differently. These data were pulled through a Excel sheet that was sorted and filtered specifically for language that connected to the bullying of students who either through gender expression or members of the LGBT community. But we are, and we want the data. We want people to report these incidents when they occur. We want principals and assistants to report all data, all incidents when they occur. There is no incentive in our district to not report those data. There is only a mountain of problems that occur when data are not reported. So we know that we need to keep working on helping our school-based folks do that accurately, but that those are the data that were reported.
Thank you.
They're going to make less meals that day.
Sorry.
Thank you. I have three questions. But the first of all, our Office of Food and Nutrition Services is no longer here, and I'm pretty sure they probably went and thinking that December 23rd, they don't even order quite as much food. They haven't been any trouble.
My first question is about the bullying. I think we all know that, probably most parents have experience, or many parents have, their child comes home and tell them that they were bullied at school, and most of those cases don't get reported. So what is the reporting process, and how do students and families know what that process is, and how to go about, making that report?
So this process is posted publicly on a school's website. It should be a part also on the New York City Department of Education website. It should be a part of orientation, and is a part of orientation for all teachers, all principals, and all assistant principals. There's a master slide deck that schools are required to review before school begins, and these chancellor's regulations that connect to these allegations are embedded in that. I am not saying that the current reporting system is perfect. We want to always encourage teachers, people working in the cafeteria, school safety agents to always report that, so that we have a good understanding of what the needs of our schools are.
Thank you. My second question is about the wisdom and the screeners that we're using, that schools are using to sort of align their work and wisdom and progress to measure that progress. And if they're not using screeners, like what kind of assessments are you using to evaluate that? And is there information out there that families can access to help them interpret those assessments?
So, two different things. The academic screeners are administered 3 times a year. Those are not connected to the curricula in any kind of way. Those are quick measures of how students are performing on the set of skills that are connected to their grade level. It is not intended to be like a deep diagnosis of how students are doing as readers and writers. It's just a quick understanding of you're doing okay, you're on track, here's something you need to take a look at. Within the curricula that we are, within the wisdom curricula, there are also assessments that are built throughout the different modules that families will learn more about. There are writing assessments that evaluate not just the students' writing, but how students are understanding the reading that they're doing. There are big assessments that occur at the end of each module to help us understand how students are doing with the bigger, broader goals that are outlined in the module. Only a few of our teachers in the district have taught with this before this year, but we expect that during our parent-teacher conferences this year, our teachers will be able to talk about how students are doing specifically on these curriculum-based assessments, and as well as other assessments that might be used in the school.
Thank you. My last question is about special education services. And I've been hearing a lot statewide about students who are not getting their mandated special education services, particularly occupational therapy, physical therapy, as paraprofessionals. And I know many students have been, because of the sort of dearth of OTs and PTs in the public school system, have been getting related service authorizations and having to go outside of the school to get those services. And in many cases, those RSAs, those related service authorizations, are going unused because it's difficult to after the school day to go out and find an occupational therapist who will accept it, and we may have mandated group therapy, and it's a little difficult to find that outside the school setting. So I wonder, and this may be a question for the next meeting as well, if you have some data, like in terms of District 2, how are I think the microphone's dying, but
It's a lot better than heard online.
in terms of District 2, I'm curious in terms of District 2, how many schools are lacking occupational therapists, physical therapists, and how many students in our district are getting related service obligations to kind of forcing them to go outside the school, and what might be done to sort of remedy that at a school-to-school level.
Yes, ensuring that our students are receiving the services that are on our IEPs is a huge priority, and I understand the challenges of having to go outside of the school in order to seek those services. At the end of October, October 31st, the city is going to take a snapshot of how we are doing as a district in terms of meeting the needs of our students as per their IEP. The goal is to ensure that there are 95% of all services that are provided, not necessarily 95% of students, but thinking about a service as contributing to that 95%. And so I will be able to report on that specifically as to what this first snapshot is. I know that when we started the year, we were not at 95%. We were closer to 80%. But I'll have good data for you in our meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, just
Okay. Hello. I have a comment and a question. My comment is that my experience as a parent with the new curriculum is really great. My kids getting both phonics and content knowledge, which I think is so important. I really particularly like the handouts for parents that show exactly, what are my son's in second grade, so like what are the difficult words they're learning, what are the sounds they're learning in that module, and then there are a bunch of books that they recommend for you to read at home. And so, I went to the library, got those books, and it's really a great, it's been a great resource. And I really wonder if my son had this curriculum since kindergarten, if I had to spend all the money that I spent on tutoring outside the school for him to learn to read. So thank you so much for all the work that you all are doing on implementing this curriculum. My question is about math differentiation in middle school. I already had a bunch of parents contact me and say, I was promised there would be math differentiating in this middle school. That's why we wanted to get here. My son, my kid is reading a novel in math class because it's so boring. They already did this. And people are not as frustrated yet. They're still working with the teachers and the principal because it's early in the year, but I can guarantee you if nothing is done, they will be here next month, and I'm sure you already received some emails about that. So what is being done to make sure that every student is being met exactly where they are in math in middle school, because it's definitely not happening, where it should be.
It's a good question, and there are two answers to it. Number one is that while we are using a published curriculum, teachers should always work to meet the needs of kids wherever it is that they show up. And we are now entering this second year, and in a couple of cases, third year of this curriculum, and we need to do a better job of making sure that we are not just teaching with one teacher in the front and teaching kids the exact same thing. So we need to do more to do that. On a specific issue that has come up in regard to one group of our students is that some of our students in gifted and talented programs are participating in an accelerated program in all content areas. And in math, that means that in first grade they're doing second grade curriculum, third grade, fourth grade, and in fifth grade they're doing a sixth grade curriculum. And the sixth grade curriculum that some of our elementary school gifted and talented students are doing is illustrative math. So there is overlap of the same curriculum that kids are doing in fifth grade as are doing in sixth grade. However, most of the kids who do leave our elementary school gifted and talented programs enter middle school at a school where they are doing the accelerated version of the curriculum. So there is an accelerated sixth grade curriculum that helps with some of that, but does not fix it. There are some lessons specifically toward the end of fifth grade that are begun with at the start of sixth grade. And so we are working on that. It is an issue that has come up this year, and we want to make sure that we eliminate that problem moving forward. So I've been in touch with the teacher, and the principal, teachers, and the principals, and we are working to try that.
I'm just quickly going to read the message that I received yesterday, and this is not the case, this is 7th grade. Okay, my kid already took algebra at the previous school. They put him in pre-algebra in 7th grade. and they're saying he cannot be taking region sports in 7th because it won't count. Is that an actual law, or can I push back? So this is like a pattern that I'm receiving, and so I just really, I want the kids to study and learn as much as they can, and so really we should be pushing them as hard as they can, and nobody should be reading a novel in math class because they know already the content.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine, it's fine, you can.
It's fine, I feel as I'm told.
This is actually related to what you just brought up, and I was going to save this for the committee reports, but I'm not sure how long we're going to stay tonight. In earlier, I know, right? Much more reports going on. This council passed resolution 252 earlier, I guess, in the last calendar or school year, and we recently received feedback from the chancellor's office that supported this resolution quite strongly. And for those of you who do not memorize all of this council's resolution numbers, this was regarding creating a math task force to develop a pilot program starting in fall 24, but now we're talking fall 25, in order to create accelerated curriculum for grades 4 through 8 in math. And I think that what we're seeing right now, that Danielle has been talking about, is the culmination of many years of seeing this in different forms. And the letter that we received from the Deputy Chancellor basically said that we support the development of this. And so one of the things that I'd like to ask you tonight, because they suggested that we go back to our district leadership, is will you continue to support this and help us develop a pilot program that addresses these issues for the 25-26 school year?
In working with the Deputy Chancellor on that response, she did make note of the work that we were doing in accelerated work in middle schools, and we did get a lot of praise for that. We do also think that there is space to talk about how it is that we can extend that in fourth grade. And so we are working on, with a small handful of schools, thinking about how it is that they are engaging in, if not accelerated curriculum during the school day, how it is that they might use clubs and math teams and other activities to help to enrich the math experience of kids in 4th and 5th grade.
And now they talk about the fact that there's gifted and talented schools that you have to enter at a young age to get access to this accelerated math. Is what you're referring to here, because I think the idea of the task force was to make sure that if you didn't get on the G&T track at kindergarten or one of the other early access points, that you're not missing out on accelerated education. You're not having a choice between going out of your neighborhood for G&T and going to the local school and still getting the academics and your kids' needs. So in talking about where you're thinking about how you do this or where you're talking to schools, can you talk more about what we're doing outside of the G&T schools?
We don't have any, we haven't identified any schools as of yet. We have identified schools that have math clubs and math teams, and so we're looking to see how it is that we might leverage those resources in schools to enrich the math experience of kids in those moments.
Thank you. Thank you for working with me. Thank you. Thank you for working with the Deputy Chancellor on this, and look forward to working you on this through the academic committee.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? Okay. So thank you, Superintendent McGuire. And again, we'll see you on December 23rd. That's at school.
They might.
Okay, next up is a report of committees. Are there any reports of any committees? Yeah, okay. Discussion of resolutions. So would anybody, we'll start with resolution 261. As a reminder, resolution to oppose mayoral control of the New York City Department of Education. Does anyone wish to speak, or does anyone have any comments or things they want to say about resolution 261? Len.
So for those of you who know me, my position on mayoral control has been consistent throughout my entire tenure on the Community Education Council, which is going on more than 5 years now. And that has been regardless of whether or not I agree with our particular mayor's positions, politics. I think mayoral control offers, as problematic as it is, it offers the best oversight, the best direct representation of the parents of New York, for supervision and administration of the New York City Department of Education, which to some extent is basically unmanageable. What concerns me is I understand Councilmember Gavin mentioned that our current mayor is under indictment. I believe, if my numbers are correct, there have been over 50 members of the New York State Legislature who have actually served jail time. So in terms of our advocating whether or not that is less troublesome, that is, it is disturbing if you think about it. The other thing I would point out is the legislature also is consisting of legislators that are not from New York City, that are also from Long Island, so you're talking about giving other people potential input rather than citizens of New York City. Can I ask a member? Excuse me, Ms. Hernandez, could you please give me the courtesy as a member?
I haven't said a damn thing. You can call me out. I'm calling you out. I haven't said anything.
Thank you.
This little.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you would just at least.
I haven't said anything to this moment, so don't call me out when it wasn't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, whatever the comments are coming from that direction of the audience, I apologize it wasn't you. I appreciate it, just finish my comments. So we have members of the New York City Legislature who are not from New York City. That is also an issue that I think is concerning. And I would also say that we're in a posture right now of opposing mayoral control and really not, by using it almost as a threat, the legislature is using it as a threat occasionally, and there's a lot of lobbying that goes on by the UFT. And I think that has significantly weakened the mayor's authority to some extent because they're always concerned about mayoral control. So I think the most direct oversight, I think the largest amount of input and concurrence in New York City public school system can have would be at the mayoral level. And that's why I oppose this resolution. I think we need to move on. And I think that it's important that unless you have an actual viable alternative, not some hypothetical alternative, that we continue to support mayoral control.
Any other comments?
Yes. I absolutely agree with Gavin when he said at the beginning that all this problems with the mayor, it's creating uncertainty with our families, but I don't think the problem is to going from mayoral control to districts, councils that we had before. There was even more corruption at DOE than there is now, so really is, if you can imagine that this is possible, the solutions for radical control. We really need to have universal choice of parents can choose which school is the best for their kids, and then schools are only have to really respond to parents. And that's what we already have in 13 states across the country, and that's what we should be fighting for, to really have parental control where parents and families are deciding what is the best education for their kids.
Craig, I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Do I have a mic?
You get a mic too? You need to hand.
This one doesn't work.
Yeah, functional.
So a couple of things. First, the resolution doesn't ask for any return to the local district control. It asks for further investigation of this issue. And then you listen to the state legislature with the 50 members who served that took away community control. And it's also the state legislature that every 2 years renews their investment. So I mean, it's in the hands of the state now. And so what I'm asking for in this resolution is to
beyond just the current mayor, the current chancellor. And the answer to that problem is absolutely not to defund public schools, because that will hurt so many students. It will particularly hurt students with disabilities. Yes. It will be like extremely harmful to them. So if people are proposing that the solution is to defund public schools, I'd like to ask, like, where's their patient on them? Because, you know, there's something in there. That's not, it's not the best use of our case.
Any other comments on this resolution? The one thing I will note is I went back and I looked in the 22 years or so of mayoral control. We have had 8 chancellors, which sounds like an awful lot, which it is an awful lot. It's a revolving door. In the 22 years prior to mayoral control, so going back to, was it 1980, we also had 8 chancellors. So we had the same number of, same revolving door, and I'm not including the interims, it's 8 ones. And one of which left in, I would consider, disgrace, because there were questions about his spending. It was in the early 80s, it was a long, long time ago. So, you know, if that was under the old system, and that was problematic as well. I'm going to move now to Resolution 262, resolution to affirm CEC2's support of NYCPS's guidelines to support transgender and gender-expansive students, and rescind resolution number 248. Does anybody wish to speak on this resolution?
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Hear the mic back?
So, you know, we heard before in the presentation about school food, that there are 1,800 public schools in New York City, and there are about 1 million students. Do you know how many full-size athletic fields there are in New York City, public schools? There are 61. 61 shared by 1,800 schools. There are two of those are in that. So I just don't understand how we as a council are passing a resolution on 248 that is even limiting even more the already extremely narrow door that students have to access athletics in their schools. And so, I mean, that's number one. And number two, I think that as a council, we need to think a bit more sort of expansively and inclusively about athletics. You know, public school athletic league organizes a lot of different sports, a lot of different teams throughout the city. And, you know, there are tackle football teams organized by the public school athletic league that have players on them that are male, that are female, that are cisgender, you know, that are cis girls, that are boys, that are trans, already. And, you know, I trust the people in the public school athletic league, the physical education teachers in our schools, to operate all of the sports, all of the physical education in an inclusive, safe, respectful, healthy manner. And what our resolution 248 did was it aligned those good people who are working with our students every day. And I think that was harmful. And also, as we have seen over and over, with the outpouring of concern from the community, is that our community feels harmed by this resolution, and it is ongoing harm. So I think what we need to do is we need to walk that back. As someone said tonight, it's not too late. The right time to say no to Resolution 48 was back in March. But this is not too late to say, you know, we had enough, and we're gonna put an end to this. And we're gonna try to be more inclusive, more respectful, and just more kind to the families in our community.
Just do our jobs as some of this district. I am amazed at all of the speakers that again came out today. I'm going to see what I was about to say about this resolution so that we can have more time for public speaking. These are people that are communication today.
sorry, could you repeat the last, I couldn't hear it, go
Just gonna
ahead.
make sure there's enough time for public speakers.
Is it okay if I talk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, sorry. I will also be quick. So as a student representative, I have some notes. Not very formal notes, but I will say that since my first meeting last month, where there was also similar discourse surrounding this issue of sports and supporting transgender and gender expansive students in New York City public schools, I kind of took it upon myself to kind of talk with some of my fellow New York City public school students. Of course, it's not, I'm in a very specific district, I'm in a very specific school, so I did make sure to kind of try to talk to my friends and other folks that are in other schools around the district and around the city. Of course, because of my age, it's mostly high school students. But I kind of brought up different issues discussing trans youth and trans youth involvement in sports, specifically regarding trans girls' involvement in sports, at both the pre-PSAL level and then PSAL, which is the sports teams in the New York City public school system. And I will just say that the overwhelming majority of students that I spoke with either did not agree with Resolution 248 based on what they knew about it, or simply did not care either way, and they hope that they don't, it was a lot of, they didn't know this was an issue because it didn't really show up for them, and it wasn't really a big deal for them. And then I will say, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but for younger students, so I have two younger siblings that are 11 and 14. And they both play sports both in and out of school. They both are actually in co-gendered sports, so people in their sports teams are male, female, and then gender non-conforming. And then they compete with other students of all genders. For example, my little sister who's 11, she does karate, and so she does it at a dojo outside of school, but she does with a lot of different genders of kids. And then my brother does fencing in school as a PSAL sport. And I spoke to both of them, and again, they didn't really care either way. So that was kind of what I found since last meeting. I hope that's helpful. Anywho, okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. So we will move on to the second public speaker session. How many people do we have? I want to be sensitive of the time because it's already 8:40. No. But we have to leave. I mean, it's 10. We have to break short. We can't end at 10. We have to be out of here by 10. Oh, just 12 and 9. Sorry. Sorry.
Again, if speakers can please just limit their 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I'll just limit their comments. You guys are very good last time. Speaker number 1 will be Ethan Robosto.
Hi, thank you. So I already said before, so yeah, my name is Ethan Robosto. I grew up in the New York City area, and I am a trans woman. I came out when I was 16 in the year 2000. And back then, it was kind of a different climate, and I was doing HRT and conversion therapy. And so I made me feel better, I made me feel vulnerable, and those scars I still carry today. As things progressed, there was a time, maybe about 10 years ago, where I thought we moved past all of that. But honestly, what I see being done today seems like the same type of othering that I faced 24 years ago. You're making these children feel vulnerable, you're making them feel other, you're making them feel like they don't belong, and you wonder why there's bullying in schools, there's bullying at this council level. And frankly, yeah, I looked at Resolution 248, and honestly, it's tough to review only because there's not much substance in it. not a single bullet point in 48 gives a credible or concrete reason for excluding trans girls from sports. It seems like it's just like we're just asking questions, but if you have questions, well, sport medicine, as I believe earlier, says, actually trans women are probably disadvantaged in sports. So that's not really the question you're asking. I think you're just trying to other students, and you're giving them mental scars that are going to carry with them the rest of their lives. And really, honestly, you should be ashamed of that. Thank you.
Next speaker is Alexander Jerome.
Get off your fucking phones and look up at the people speaking
Thank
to you about their experiences.
Can you also, people please refrain from using language like that, because people are.
We're talking to you,
Alexandria Rome.
Look up. These are real. There are dead kids.
Alright, is Alexandria Rome here? Okay, next speaker, Eli Ehrlich.
Hi everyone, we heard some truly amazing parents, families, and community members calling to rescind resolution 248 today. You know that there's a round of that. So I hope everyone will look at the broader picture here and reflect on this important moment there. This is one of the first anti-trans resolutions in New York City schools. And right now we have the opportunity to overturn it, which is really fantastic. And this moment isn't just about CEC, but everyone in this room. We have a very small group led by Mom Mara who wants to line their pockets with billionaires' donations by attacking trans students. And on the other hand, as we heard, we have an overwhelming majority who believe that trans kids should have the freedom to participate in education, unhindered by policies, politicians, or faraway think tanks. Rescinding Resolution 248 helps us move past the moral panic over trans children and toward a more equitable future in education. And I also want to say this to the whole board. Trans kids aren't a legend issue. They're real people. And Allison, you look at me right now because I am speaking to you specifically. No, Allison? All right. Policies like Resolution 248 target a small group of children who are already vulnerable to bullying and harassment. It tells them that they're less worthy, that they're controversial, and that they're just not part of the debate, rather than people who have their own lives, needs, and goals. Trans kids are part of our future, so I hope they'll make the right decision right now and support them while we have this power to. Thank you all for listening.
Next speaker is Victoria Hall. And Megan Madison, you're on deck.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. My name is Victoria. It's not fun coming to these meetings. We go over and over the same things again and again. It's getting old and boring. The resolution already passed. The effort to rescind it already failed. Okay, and yet here we are again because we have so many bullies bullying us that our resolution that we passed shouldn't have passed. You know, Gavin, I feel so, really truly, I feel so physically violated by the things that you say and the position that you hold.
Let her, we're not going to do what we did last time. Let her speak, please.
But I feel disgusted because my lived experience of going around the world in this life with a female body, you're saying it's not meaningful, that it has no value, that it's not even real. You're saying instead what is real is an identity or a belief or a costume. And Gavin, what happens? You're talking about a lot of things that I do agree with, that I think is fantastic and we should try to put together to work on, try to expand opportunities for all students. There's not enough support for all of the students, and and so when the girls' team is opened up to trans students, and a boy will play on that team instead of her, you are limiting places for girls. Do you understand that mathematically how that works? They're both girls.
All right, let her speak. Thank you. Let her speak.
In those teams, they are also using their vocals. And they don't come here to talk backwards because you're all such bullies.
Thank you.
You have to call us narcissists, to call us disgusting, to call us bullies. It's not fair. We won't put up with it.
Okay, we're not having crosstalk. We're not having crosstalk, and thank you. Mr. Minister. No, please, no crosstalk. Okay, we're gonna pause. Ma'am, thank you. We're gonna take a, okay. Let's all take a deep breath. So take a deep breath. Ms. Madison, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna pick up where we left off. There are lots of ways to show the world who you are, and they are all wonderful. There are so many toys, clothes, hairstyles, and colors to choose from. You know what you like because it makes you feel happy, and at home in your body. What's your favorite color? What do you like to dress up as? You may have heard people say, that's just for boys, or that's just for girls. Has someone ever picked toys or clothes for you, but they didn't make you feel happy or at home in your body? How did that make you feel? For a long time, many people have said and believed untrue things, like you're either a boy or a girl, or boys are stronger and smarter than everybody else. There are lots of unfair rules that give boys more power. Have you noticed any unfair rules about gender? 48 is a good example. Thankfully, there are also many brave grown-ups and kids who say, no, that's not true and that's not fair. People who work together to change unfair rules about gender are called feminists. Who are some feminists in your family? Fast forward to the end, and the book ends by saying, we want the world to be more fair, because each one of us is just right, exactly as we are. Being ourselves makes the world beautiful. Thank you.
Good evening again, everyone. When I was last up here, I spoke about the billionaires for funding modern agenda. But I want to share that maybe there's one thing that Mom and I actually agree upon, and it's the fact that parent voices, in true partnership with educators and students, should play a critical role in shaping education policy. Where Mom and I converge is that as an educator, I know that Maude and Moms for Liberty don't actually represent the vast majority of NYC parents. And as a trans woman, I know personally that becoming a parent isn't something that we all have equal access to. In a time when fascism is on the rise across the globe, right here in New York City and on this board, we all need to do more than voting against Project 2025 and for Proposition 1 on November 5th. We need to practice democracy at the local level. In short, we need you to join your district's community education council and replace some of the folks on this board. I'm not a middle school parent, so I can't run for CEC like many of you. I am, however, submitting an application to Borough President Mark Levine's office to join CEC2 as one of his appointed representatives of the community. I need your support. Please, run alongside me. Share the report that I shared in the first half and with this council about the billionaire something body. Help us get out the vote for CEC elections in the spring, so folks don't win with just a handful of votes. And most importantly, please keep showing up and encouraging this council to raise it to 248. Lastly, help us build a coalition of everyday New Yorkers, students, athletes, social workers, rabbis, professors, aunties, Instagram influencers, and activists of all ages, who are committed to keeping moms sterility out of our schools once and for all, and together building schools and communities where all children feel safe, seen, and loved. Please, trans children deserve to feel safe.
Trans children deserve to feel safe.
Can we do louder than that? Trans children deserve to feel safe.
Trans children deserve to feel safe.
Trans youth deserve to feel seen.
Trans youth deserve to feel seen.
Trans youth deserve to feel loved.
Trans youth deserve to feel loved.
Trans youth deserve trans schools.
Trans youth deserve trans schools.
Thank you all.
Our next speaker is Christy Rose. Christy Rose. And then we're going to have Ali Blake.
Allison Baldwin, it is unacceptable that the public is speaking to you, community members, and parents of students whose interests you are supposed to represent, and you are on your phone. Parents are telling you that they fear for their children's safety and well-being in your school district. This is literally a life and death issue. You have not been listening. If you are someone who abstained from voting on this issue last month, I urge you to vote yes on 262 tonight to counter her blatant disrespect for the community you are supposed to serve.
Ali Blake. And then we're going to have Kristen Fiore.
I can count the number of times I've seen my father cry. On one hand, the fingers left over. I saw him cry when his parents died, which I at least somewhat expected. The other time I saw my dad cry, I wasn't expecting it. I was in high school at the time, and it was school vacation week. My mom and brother were away going to college, so it was just my dad and me at the house. I came home late one night from my job at Walmart. I had worked a longer day than I typically did during the week because it was school break week and I could use the money. I struggled through the day for this reason, and I struggled through the day because I was generally struggling. I came home ready to collapse into bed, and to my surprise, I found my dad in the living room sobbing in the dark. He was sobbing because my mom had called him to share that she had heard a close friend of mine had taken her own life a few days before. This is part of why I struggled to make it through that work shift, and the first, though unfortunately not the last time, a dear, queer, and trans loved one made such a decision. I was 16, as were they. My dad and my interaction that night was brief. I was unspeakably tired. Between choking back tears, he desperately made sure to communicate to me, I need you to know that you are loved. You have heard so many of us echo this, with grief, with rage, with desperation. You can join us tonight. Any join us tonight and firmly say to trans youth in CECD2, I need you to know that you are loved with a vote for Resolution 262.
Hi there. I mean, I have written down. It's because I didn't intend to give this part, which is like, as a human being to other human beings, like, it's pretty, I sat on boards. I've been the board president of an organization for many years. I have hosted listening sessions and town halls before, and I've never seen the blatant disrespect that is human beings spoken there. Like, the idea that, like as a human being, that you could just let someone on your, like, add it to your folks' leadership, the leaders on your board, like, say something, nudge her. She has not, like, we have parents who are telling you about their kids in this age of children, and it's like, how do they care more about Candy Crush than they do about the lives of kids in the school district? It's genuinely person, it's just one of those unbelievable challenges that I've ever seen. So that's all I have. Oh, actually, also glad that you apologized for taking a lot of time. If you have the intention of adults in a room, never apologize for that.
The next speaker is sorry about the pronunciation.
No worries, I have a weird name.
I think I got the Kate right.
Exactly. Thanks a lot. Hi, I'm Kate. Tiskis, but if you pronounce it Tiskis, cool. And I wanted to come speak to you today because I'm a person with a lot of gender expansive kids in my life, especially in elementary school and in high school. And let me tell you, it's pretty hard to figure out who you want to be and how to feel safe and what you want to do. It's pretty hard to figure out who your friends are going to be, and it's hard to figure out what makes you feel like the best part of your school day and the best part of your evening is happening. And they're having a hard time. You know, I hear more sad stories from them than I really want to. And just the tragedy of sort of having these kids who already feel so signaled out, who are already figuring out who they want to be under tougher conditions than most of us have to face, having legislation to address them, to single them out further on a legislative level. No wonder they feel like everybody's looking at them. No wonder they have such a hard time figuring out who they want to be. Just on a personal level, when I was in school, sports really helped me understand my body and what I wanted to do with it and what it could do other than be decorative, and making sure that these kids in my life, they have a harder time or a scarier time accessing that. It's a real shame. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Olivia Blake. And then after that, we're going to have
Hi, my name is Olivia Blake, and I come for comment in support of presenting Resolution 248. I'm a trans woman, I'm a mother of 3 children, 1 middle school age and 2 elementary school students. And tonight we've heard arguments about the purpose of sport and athletic advantage around trans children, but I would ask for us to consider another angle of the purpose of sport, which is belonging. There's a social and emotional component to participating in athletic team sports, of learning how to work together and build meaningful relationships. And I think that the outcome of this resolution is uttering punctuation of harmful barriers. It is not advancing the goals of social and emotional learning for our students. The root source of the outcome is the same, which is fear. and that contributes to children who cis and trans feeling unsafe at school. Seems like a pretty core foundation part of your job is to make children feel safe at school. So I would ask for you to rescind resolution 248. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mo, and thank you for all the speakers that came up tonight, and for the statistics that you showed. I am curious, on those statistics, you have allegations that are related to gender expression. Tonight, you've heard people say, are you a boy or a girl? You had that come up tonight, right, from some speakers, right? That's where everyone got upset. You call that speaking names. It's because they misgendered somebody. That happened in this room. Maude does that. Charles, we do that. When we spoke last at the meeting, we did that. When you use the incorrect pronoun for people, that happened in this room. That statistic happened. Is that getting counted on those statistics? I talked to you last meeting. I came up to you. Do you remember? Do you remember what I said to you? I asked you how can you sit and watch this and be a part of this community as a bystander. And you know what you said to me? For making sure. You smiled and said, I don't have to, I have you all. That is what you said verbatim when I asked you. And yet then we're called a mission over here. And you're really not going to like this today, when I don't get to be for that here. So I just want to say this as a therapist. One thing I like to do with my clients is to re-correct the things that we wish that we could have done as kids. And some of it is to screen the session, to get the stage to the adults, to make them feel unsafe, and so they can say, for all my clients and trans kids who aren't able to say this, fuck you, Leonard, fuck you, Craig, fuck you, Daniela, fuck you, Bree, who's not here, fuck you, Maude, fuck you, Alice, fuck you, Charles, I don't care enough, fuck you, Sabina, fuck you, you're a bystander.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for all the speakers. Next on the agenda is the vote on resolutions, and I will pass it.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, we'll start off. Yeah, we'll start off. Yes.
Okay.
So, does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion. So I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 261, entitled Resolution to Impose Mayoral Control of the New York City Department of Education. Does anyone want to second that motion? Seconded.
Who seconded it? Jessica? Okay. Take it to a vote.
Pre, absent, Allison,
No.
Danielle, no, Charles,
No.
Gavin,
Yes.
Maud is absent, Sonal, sorry. Sarah,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Sabina, Len,
No.
Craig,
No.
Lila, not here, Alexandra.
Sorry, did you say it's Lila? Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
It's
Lila.
okay. It's all good.
Lila, 4 against, or abstain?
Oh, sorry. 4, yes.
4?
Yes.
Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2.
4, sorry, for the tally, the student representative.
Oh, okay.
That's the law.
Okay, thank you for your patience with me. 4 votes yes, 6 no, and 2 absent.
Okay.
So the motion, sorry,
This is not passed.
Okay. Resolution 262, resolution to affirm CECD's support of NYPS's guidelines, support transgender and gender expensive students, and rescind resolution number 248. Is there a motion
to approve.
Now make the motion.
Glenn made the motion,
Wait,
Jeremy.
wait, you have to say the motion, sorry. The motion is to approve resolution number 262, entitled Resolution to Affirm CECD2's support of NYCPS guidelines to support transgender and gender expansive students and rescind resolution number 248. Does anyone second the motion?
Second.
Is that
Jessica.
Jessica again? Let's take it to a vote.
Save lives.
Chris absent, Allison,
No.
Daniela, no, Charles,
No.
Gavin,
Yes.
Maud is absent, Sonal, I'm sorry. Sonal,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Sabina, Len,
Abstain.
Craig,
Abstain.
Coward!
Lila,
Yes.
More dead kids. Let's kill more kids.
No thanks.
so 4 and 4, so it
Correct.
does not pass.
How can you listen to everything that
Okay, so we're gonna move on. Next is approval of the minutes. You should have the draft minutes of the August 21st meeting.
See you next time.
Does anybody have any edits, anybody questions for the, refers to the August 21st meeting?
Because it's like a 2.
Does anybody have any comments or questions on August 21st minutes? Okay, then let's make a motion. Is there a motion to approve the August 21st, 2024 minutes?
I make the motion to approve the draft minutes of the August 21st, 2024 CECD2 meetings.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Let's take it to a vote.
Chris absent, Allison,
Yes.
Daniela, yes, Charles, Gavin,
Abstain.
abstain, Maud is absent, Sonal,
Sonal.
I'm really sorry, I'm sorry, Sonal,
So I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear what you said.
She wants to make a motion to approve.
should the minutes of August,
Yeah, but I'm not sure who you're calling because I didn't hear my name.
Sonal,
Abstain.
Sarah,
Abstain.
Jessica,
Abstain.
Sabina,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Lila,
Yes, sure.
okay, it passes.
No, it didn't. 6.
1, 2, 3,
8, 7.
4, 5, 6. Oh, yes, okay, so it does not pass.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know if you need 6 to approve the minutes, but.
I'll confirm.
Okay, so now we go there.
Okay. Next are the draft minutes of the September 18th, 2024 meeting, CECD2 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve, or sorry, are there any questions or comments on the minutes of the September 18th minute? Amendments, edits?
I make a motion to approve the draft minutes of the September 18, 2024 CECD2 meeting.
Second.
Charles is seconded.
Oh, I'm
Take
sorry,
it to a
Charles.
vote.
Good, I'm glad. Good for him.
Okay, so Chris is absent, Allison,
Yes.
Daniela, yes, Charles.
Yes.
Gavin,
Abstain.
Maud is absent. So now,
Sonal.
I'm really sorry, Sonal, I'm so sorry, Sonal,
No, it's not that hard.
I'm really sorry.
It should be, and I accept for now. You don't have to abstain.
I know, it's fine, let's just move on.
Okay.
Just vote already.
So,
Whatever your
She
name
abstained,
is.
she
she abstained,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yep.
Sabina,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Lila, yes?
Yes.
Okay, it passes.
Okay, thank you.
May I make a point of order?
What's the point of order?
I think we should not make fun of people for mispronouncing names on the committee or make a big deal about them. Because I
Okay.
think everybody comes from different nationalities and it's not.
I apologize, it is my.
Okay, thank you, the comment is noted, thank you. Is there any new business? I'm taking that as a none, so without objection, can we adjourn the calendar meeting?
Second.
I will, all in favor, just raise your hand. Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you. We're going to go straight into the working business meeting. Jason.
Just while we're on the topic of names.
Okay. Thank you. I'll ask Jason.
It's okay, it's like fine, it's just,
See what you got yourself into.
I told you guys to not put it.
Okay. So, I'm going to call to order and we'll do the roll call. I'll do the attendance for the roll call for this. Okay. Okay. So I want to call to order the working business meeting of CEC2, October 16th. Pre-Boparai is absent. Allison Bowen.
Here.
Allison Bowen is here. Daniela Egorov.
Here.
Daniela Egorov is here. Charles Love.
Here.
Charles Love is here. Gavin Healy. Here. Gavin Healy is here. Maud Marin, I've noted she was excused. Sonal Patel.
Here.
Sonal Patel is here. Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg.
Here.
Sarah Schechter Ehrenberg is here. Jessica Savage.
Here.
Jessica Savage is here. Sabina Serenise.
Here.
Sabina Serenise is here. Leonard Silverman.
Here.
Leonard Silverman is here. Craig Slutskin is here. Lila Jason.
Yeah.
Got it right?
Yes.
Okay. She is here. Alexander Stillman, as we just noted earlier, is excused. So we have a quorum. So Cree could not be here tonight, or she's not here tonight. I do actually have her proposed budget, which I'm gonna pass along.
Isn't this one? I think we have it already.
You have it already?
Yeah,
Should be in the
we have it.
folder.
Yeah.
Okay, I also bought copies. I think she's, for the most part, kept it as the same as last year. Does anybody have any questions? Len?
And how much will you put for transportation?
I mean,
Can I take a
Just
cab?
let him.
I don't know, the only thing I was gonna suggest is, I don't know how many people, I don't think any of us are board business cards, but I would allocate a little money for that. Let's take those cards. I think $16,000 reimbursed for member expenses is way more than we ended up spending.
It is, people didn't put in.
Yeah, only a couple of us actually.
Well, but we donated them.
I would just allocate, we just take $500, take it from there, just put it to business cards, and we don't, whatever's not spent, we don't have.
Okay, so what, I'm sorry, what is the amount in,
I would just suggest reduce the member expenses to 17,000.
no, it's 16 or 15.
I'm sorry, it's 15,000.
So 15,000 and then 1,050 for business cards?
No, just
500. Oh, okay.
I thought we decided business cards were fool's errand. Why we need business cards?
Well,
I mean, that was something we agreed on. I remember this very clearly because Charles and Maud and I all agreed, and that doesn't happen very often.
Okay. All right, I don't
Charles,
want
you remember that?
I don't
We
want
talked
to,
about
I don't want to
business
break
cards, like no
that.
cards?
We agreed about what?
Business cards. We don't need cards.
God, no.
Thank you.
All right, then I won't break that up if you.
Yeah,
guys
this is a
agree on
moment.
something.
We are having a
I
moment.
will not break that moment up, so I'll throw that to.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I would make a request for miscellaneous expenses for the district president's council of $500, because that's where the budget for that organization comes from, which will be returned at use. And so if I could $500 for that,
Yeah.
as the number of expenses, that would be appreciated.
Is everybody okay with allocating 500 to the D2 President's Council?
Yes.
Taking that out of member expenses?
Yes.
Sure, yes. Don't know if I get.
You look, you look perplexed.
It was hard to hear you. It was hard to hear you.
Sorry, so the question is allocating $500 to the D2 President's Council, because they don't, their budget comes from us. They don't have their own budget, so if they have expenses, they're like mine.
What do they spend it on?
It could potentially be, I'm just saying, I'm not saying this, but it could potentially be like Zoom-related expenses, things like that.
Oh, like Zoom, all right. If they have a breakfast, they can invite us.
We do, occasionally, we might have.
I like donuts. I want Danish.
So is everybody okay with that?
Just allocating, the President's Council budget comes from the CEC, so we just want to allocate $500, just.
But do you know what expenses they have?
Yeah, we may have expenses coming up for, it could be a food expense if we do a live meeting, it could be a Zoom or just miscellaneous expenses. I just want to have some money in there just in case.
And all the councils contribute to that?
It's always from the CEC.
No, we said-
Didn't do it last. No, not from me, I'm not.
I think Lynn is trying to explain what expenses they have.
In other words,
Yes, yes,
you look
that's
at the
where the budget
CECD
comes from, yes,
Yeah, right.
yes, it comes from, it doesn't come, they don't have their own fundraising or.
We're social.
Okay, so, any other questions or comments?
We didn't really hear the reason.
Okay.
We heard the
Okay, so,
allocation, but not.
okay, so the President's Council.
So just, I know you guys want to get out of here, District 2 President's Council, it's an organization made up of the PTA presidents of the 48, well, I'm going to say 52, 48 schools in District 2. We meet once a month, well, the council meets once a month. We're going to have our first meeting, because Jennifer Greenblatt passed away, our first meeting is going to be in October, next Monday.
I know what it is, I just
Yeah,
don't understand.
so their budget only comes from, their budget only comes from the Community Education Council.
Did you hear?
In the past, we've actually allocated $1,500.
I heard they meet once a month.
That's way more.
You were much clearer, but he took the mic from you.
Okay, but the folks on this end didn't hear everything. So there's the D2 President's Council, which are all the PTA presidents within the district. Yep. They meet once a month. They get no budget, their budget comes from us, from the CEC. This is the same in every district. We want to allocate $500 to whatever small miscellaneous expenses. If they meet in person, maybe have, some
We're
refreshments.
going to elect a treasurer.
Right. Okay. So $500 there, and it comes out, we'll reduce member expenses by a commensurate amount. Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Thank you.
Can I get a raised hands by acclamation?
Yes.
Thank you. Gavin?
I'm just gonna sit this one out, but you got it, you got it.
Okay, fine. That's what you want to do is fine. Okay.
Sorry.
Next on the agenda is the school liaison updates, annual capital requests. As a reminder, we should be visiting our liaison schools. If you have any questions as to which are your liaison schools, please let me know, or ask Victor, or it's on the website. We have to put in our annual capital requests over the next couple of months. Even if you don't go to the school, which I encourage you to do, please communicate with the school to see what they have and what they're interested in.
Can I?
One second. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. You can ask our face rep, who is for the interim period, it's BB. You can ask Victor as well. We have the same liaison schools as last time. That's going to happen over the next couple of months, so I highly encourage you. As a reminder, when you want to contact your school to do a liaison visit, you do it through Victor. Victor will set up the meeting with you, and then you'll go from there. I think you got a couple of questions. Start with Len, and then we'll go down.
I was just going to say, what I would recommend all of us do is, if you have a liaison school, at least reach out to them. The worst thing that can happen is you don't submit a request that they have, it's not going to look very good. If you're not doing a great job representing them, you don't reach out to them. So what usually happens is a couple months from now, we'll have a spreadsheet with the capital requests from different schools, and we'll rank them, and then we'll vote on them, and then we'll see which ones, usually the top 3, 4, end up getting approved. So there's a lot of horse trading involved.
Did you have
Yeah, I just, Victor did already send my emails, and I really appreciate that. They have come back. Give the school some space. I feel like last year.
Just a little, sorry.
Last year a little late. And for capital requests, I feel like they came in and said, hey, it was due, and we haven't done that. Do we have a new date? Can you actually get?
I'll find out. I don't know
if
there is one, but.
It's always January election.
Alright, so
It's the same time.
all right, so December 23rd, when everyone's super excited to be in school. Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
You should do your visits then.
I'm trying.
Okay. Next is, one thing I wanted to make sure to gauge the council's thought on this. As you know, we have all of our past resolutions, past PASSED, not PAST, past resolutions on the website. What I'd like to do is, next to the past resolutions, is as we get the response from the Department of Education, to actually post that as well. So if somebody sees, we passed resolution 121, whatever the number is, when the DOE responds, they can see what the DOE has responded. I think that would be good transparency.
Can I
Can I ask a question?
would just make one suggestion, I think that's great, I would also just ask to the extent we have not gotten, or have asked for a response and not gotten, at least it's either pending or not received.
Good idea.
Yeah, so that was my question. I mean, my understanding is that we usually only get like a formal acknowledgement
Yes.
they receive, and it's not a real answer, right?
I mean, so what we've received, and Victor has been forwarding it, is we do receive, I mean, some of the answers are pretty curt, some of them are several paragraphs long. It's not an acknowledgement, it's more than an acknowledgement.
Okay.
Did you have a question, Sona?
Yeah, I'd also like to propose that we put the resolutions that have been proposed but not passed in some sense of
I mean, they're still there for every meeting, but that's fine.
I know, but then somebody has to go through every meeting and go to the agenda and pull it out.
Okay.
So, you know, if we're talking about sort of issues.
That's fine.
You want to do
You don't have to,
that?
that's fine, I'll do it, that's fine.
Thank you.
Is that a yes?
I said I will do it, that's fine. Is there any new business?
Nope.
Okay. Then that being said, are we okay to adjourn? Motion to
Yes.
adjourn?
Yes.
In favor? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Happy Halloween.